Okay, so things are insane right now. Our boy is straight up getting attacked by this monstrous bear. The bear roars, and it's not just a roar, it's a full-on demonic scream, like something out of a horror movie. Someone's trying to help launching these glowing green spears, but they're barely making a dent in that beast. The bear swats at them, sending one of them flying, and honestly, this dude had it coming, charging in like that. The bear is unleashing a terrifying attack, and it's all teeth and claws, seriously scary stuff happening. Another guy tries to defend, swinging his sword, but the bear just keeps coming, a whirlwind of fury. This dude is getting launched into the air, sword flying, and it looks really bad. No way he's walking away from that. The bear is relentless, slamming into another fighter, and it's a total beatdown, just pure power. Someone else tries to fight, but the bear's claws are already there, tearing through armor like it's paper. The bear is absolutely demolishing everyone, and it's clear our boy and his friends are in a world of trouble. Our boy yells, dodging the bear's attack, but there are just so many of them now. He's surrounded by these skeletal bear monsters, and it's a total nightmare, a furry, bony army. He swings his sword, cracking through one, but they just keep coming, relentless and terrifying. Whoa, a massive burst of light explodes, pushing back the monsters and illuminating the battlefield. Someone's unleashing a serious attack, but it looks like it's coming from inside the bear itself. A guy is flying through the air, totally shocked, staring at whatever just happened. The bear roars again, and this time it's even more intense, a wave of pure power. This dude is getting blown back, and everything is shaking, the ground, the air, everything. But wait, there's a figure emerging from the light, and they look different. This is getting wild. The bear monster is ragdolling, completely losing control as something massive erupts from within it. A knight in shining armor but totally wrecked is launched forward, sword raised, while another person tries to shield themselves. The knight looks terrified, realizing what's happening, but he's gotta protect someone, right? She's dodging the knight who's flying at her, and honestly, this is a chaotic mess of limbs and metal. Everything is bathed in blinding light, and a huge shockwave sends everyone reeling. No one is safe. The knight's armor is cracking, and it's clear the power unleashed is far beyond anything they've faced. The bear monster finally hits the ground, rolling and tossing as its form breaks apart. Our boy stands on top of the shattered bear, looking down at the wreckage with a cold stare. He's thinking about the power he now possesses, enough to take down Tier 4 demons seriously. He's got that intense look in his eyes, like he's ready to face anything, but this is only the beginning. He's yelling for Huiwen, straight up desperate as the ground cracks around them. It's intense. The mountain is splitting apart, and it's not just a little crack, it's a full-on collapse. Someone's shouting over here, but honestly, it's hard to tell who from all the chaos. He's staring up at our boy atop the monster, and you can feel the tension building. It's unreal. She's looking at him with a worried expression, clearly seeing the power he's wielding now. Look at the detail on his armor. Those red markings are glowing, and it's a bad sign. He's got that determined look, but she's clearly concerned about how far he's pushing himself. A close-up of his belt buckle, it's a small detail, but everything feels significant right now. Another angle on him, looking serious, and you know this is a turning point for sure. He's unleashed some serious power, but is it enough? This dude is playing with fire. He's questioning what's happening, sensing something's off. The ground is totally messed up. No way, a black unicorn just appears, and everyone's freaking out naturally. Someone realizes it's the judge of evil, and people are seriously losing it right now. Huiwen's alive and riding that unicorn, which is insane. Did she tame it or what? He rushes over to help the knight, but gets a cut on his hand. Ouch, that looks painful. Jihai is calling out to him, wanting to talk, but he brushes her off. Rough timing, bro. Huiwen's taking charge, telling everyone to follow her to safety. She's a total leader. He's leading the way, sword drawn, with Huiwen and the unicorn right behind him. It's epic. Someone whimpers, clearly terrified, as they follow our boy into the unknown. It's intense. He's got that determined look again, but Huiwen's alive, and things are about to get real. He's leading everyone towards the castle, but it's like he already knows what's up, super suspicious. He straight up says getting here was difficult, and Huiwen's like, no duh, they're finally at the castle. They're welcomed inside, and someone declares they're safe now, but honestly, that feels like a trap. The doors creak open, revealing a massive hall, and everyone cautiously steps inside. It's eerie quiet. Someone blurts out they're done participating, and it's coming from this mysterious figure on the battlements. No way, the figure has horns. This dude is definitely not who he seems, and things are about to get wild. He realizes something is off and his face is all tense. He's connecting the dots, you can feel it. He's piecing it all together and it's clear he understands what's going on, but it's not good news. He's figured out the scenario and it's a total game changer. Everything has been planned. He's declaring he doesn't need to participate anymore, which is a bold move, but what will happen now? He's laying it all out. This scenario is a performance, a play orchestrated for someone's amusement, but it gets worse because the horned figure reveals he's the audience. Okay, so things are intense. We're at the Castle of Paradise, and this mysterious long-haired dude is just radiating power. He straight up announces he's been here 800 years before everyone else, claiming he's the master of the castle. No way, he's laying down the law, establishing dominance, and honestly, it's a bit much. He finishes his declaration, master of the Castle of Paradise, and the vibe is very ominous. We get a panoramic view of the castle, this sprawling Gothic fortress, and it's clear this place is ancient and imposing. Scene cuts to the grounds, dark and overgrown. Something feels seriously off about this place, bro. Everything fades to black, leaving us hanging. This dude's about to unleash something huge, and we're all on edge. Okay, so the long-haired dude congratulates Dokja on being resurrected. It took a while, apparently. But Dokja doesn't look thrilled, and honestly, who would be? He just died and came back to life. Then a flashback hits us. We see a younger Dokja saving a woman and a little girl from some kind of disaster. The woman recognizes Dokja and the girl Daeyoung calls out to him, remembering him too. It's a total memory unlock. The woman explains she and Daeyoung were saved by him and she's grateful. She wants Daeyoung to say hello too. Dokja just says hello, but it's loaded with emotion. You can tell he's processing everything. He starts walking, waving to the crowd, and things get weirdly festive, like he's a returning hero. However, the woman asks if they can talk in private, and the vibe instantly shifts. Something's definitely up. Dokja calls out Daeyoung's name, and she turns around, but she's different. It's unsettling, bro. And just when you think things can't get stranger, we get a close-up of Daeyoung's arm, covered in a creepy, ornate tattoo. Okay, so Dokja's reflecting on his first few days here. He distrusted everything, then suspected everything, but now he's starting to waver. Someone arrives, declaring this place paradise, and Dokja's inner monologue is screaming that something is off. A mysterious figure approaches, and Dokja is straight up questioning if this wavering is a trap. This dude is laying it on thick, asking if it's meaningful for them to continue clearing scenarios. Dokja's got a serious look on his face, and we can tell he's questioning everything, but he's playing it cool. But then he wonders if he's been feeling this way all along. A huge reveal is coming, I can feel it. We get a close-up of the mysterious figure, and honestly, it's giving off major villain vibes. The figure declares this is when you arrived here, and the tension is so high. What does it mean? Dokja's mind is racing, and he's clearly realizing something huge, but it's not what we expect. No way, he's remembering the woman and Daeyoung he saved, and the cycle is completing itself. Okay, so this new place is supposedly safer than Seoul, and everyone seems to agree. It's a huge relief for Dokja. But it gets wild. Apparently different species here don't discriminate against each other, which is a lot to unpack. They show Dokja around, and there's a house for everyone and work for everyone, straight up a whole community. It's all sunshine and roses until Dokja realizes they're not worried about betrayal or monsters. They're worried about scenarios. Dokja's mind is blown. He remembers saving a woman and Daeyoung, and it's all connected to this place. And then BAM, we get a flashback of a woman looking totally broken, and it's intense. She says she doesn't have to be chased by the scenarios anymore, but she's clearly still suffering. A close-up reveals she's crying, and honestly, it's heartbreaking to see her in this state. Suddenly, the figure from before is talking, and she reveals her name, Huiwen Jiang, the Judge of Evil. She then drops a bomb. She brought this woman up herself after entering this world, and Dokja is reeling. Huiwen Jiang is laying it all out. She created this place so she wouldn't keep killing people. She explains she brought the woman here, but Dokja's getting flashbacks to the carnage, and it's brutal. Huiwen says she's been watching Dokja and is surprised he's reached this point. She didn't expect him to survive. She reveals she's been manipulating events, guiding them to this safe haven to avoid more scenarios. But Dokja's not buying it. He points out she's still controlling everyone, just in a different way. Yuiwen claims she's giving them a choice, a life free from constant danger, but Dokja sees right through it. Suddenly, a man appears looking shocked and blurts out this is the safest place they could find. Another man walks into view, sword at the ready, and it's clear they are all on edge. Even here, danger lurks. The first man looks super worried, questioning what's happening, and honestly, we're right there with him. This whole situation is messed up, and Dokja's about to blow the lid off whatever Huiwen's planning. Dokja straight up tells Huiwen he's leaving, he won't stay in her little paradise, and honestly, good for him. He explains he needs to keep participating in the scenarios because this isn't the end, no way. Huiwen tries to reason with him, but Dokja is firm. He's seen too much to just settle for safety. They both start walking, leaving the town behind, with Dokja leading the charge and Huiwen reluctantly following. A field of daisies stretches out before them, creating this beautiful, almost peaceful scene, but we know it's a trap. Dokja and Huiwen keep walking through the flowers, but it's eerily quiet and the atmosphere is thick with tension. Suddenly, everything goes dark and it's a total blackout. Talk about dramatic timing. When the light returns, they're back in a ruined castle and Huiwen says this is where it ends. Bro, this is intense. Okay, so this mysterious guy straight up wants to reintroduce himself to Dokja, like they haven't met before. He reveals his name is Reinheit von Scherbe, a demon marquis, no less, and bro is ranked second in Dark Castle. Dokja pulls up Reinheit's character summary, and honestly, his stats are absolutely insane, all maxed out. This dude's stats aren't just high, they've surpassed the scenario limit. That's concerning, to say the least. Dokja's clearly impressed, noting that Reinheit's skill levels are at maximum proficiency. Talk about a powerhouse. Reinheit asks why Dokja wanted to meet him, and it seems he's heard rumors about our boy. Intriguing. Reinheit says he felt threatened the moment Dokja entered the scenario, and honestly can't blame him. Dokja's a wild card. Dokja is thinking about the rumors, but Reinheit is clearly giving off major do not mess with me vibes. Dokja can't help but feel threatened too, and I don't blame him. This guy is radiating power. Reinheit's staring him down and the tension is thick. Something's about to go down, you just know it. Dokja's thinking and it's dark. He's seriously considering if he should just kill Reinheit right now. But if he does, this whole paradise, this entire city will disappear. No way. Reinheit explains that 800 years ago, this land was completely empty, a blank slate, basically. He reveals that Dark Castle was the 34th scenario, and it was pure chaos, incarnations just straight up killing each other. Reinheit continues, saying there were no instructions, no rules, just a free-for-all bloodbath. He admits all he had back then was his rank, and it was the only thing keeping him alive. We get a flashback to a field of corpses, swords everywhere. It's brutal, honestly. Reinheit says he didn't need any instructions because everyone was already trying to murder each other. So he built this paradise, this city on top of that graveyard. Heavy stuff. And now he's hinting that Dokja threatening him could bring all that destruction back. Yikes. Reinheit reveals the Dokubai call these planes the graveyard of scenarios, but he disagrees. He says he's become a blood-soaked demon over time, but that's not the whole story. Dokja admits he might have been swayed by Reinheit's philosophy. This dude's got away with words. But Reinheit drops a bomb. Many powerful beings tried to find the hidden Dark Castle scenario. However, no one managed to clear it, and it was straight-up carnage, with incarnations just killing each other. Reinheit explains the 34th scenario had no rules, no instructions, just pure, unadulterated bloodshed. Built this entire paradise on top of that graveyard, and it's honestly kinda messed up. Reinheit claims he's the purest evil, and the scene cuts to a stark black screen with a single white flower. Someone Jungiak apparently called this flower Reinheit in the original novel, which is ominous. Reinheit is addressing Dokja, saying he must be thinking of moving on to the next scenario, but it won't be that easy. Reinheit is laying it all out. Paradise isn't free, it requires sacrifice, and perpetual motion is a lie. Someone's being dragged away by guards, and they're shouting that Reinheit doesn't need to do this just because of a theft. Dokja's laying down some serious truth bombs, saying paradise always comes at a cost. But the constellations are not impressed. They are literally chuckling unpleasantly at whatever's happening. The massive doors of the dark castle are swinging open with a resounding clang. This is bad news. The doors fully reveal a dark, ominous hallway, and honestly, it's straight up terrifying. In the city outside, it's starting to rumble like something huge is about to happen. Then a monstrous roar shakes everything, and the whole scene is bathed in this unsettling golden light. Our boy Dokja is staring up at something massive, and it's clear whatever's coming is gonna be a problem. The castle is silhouetted against the sky, and the situation is escalating quickly. This is gonna be wild. Reinhardt is straight up admitting he knew someone found the paradise 700 years ago, and is questioning how. No way. Reinhardt reveals he created this paradise, and it's all built on a foundation of bloodshed. He's saying everything is too peaceful and it's seriously unsettling, like he wants chaos. This dude is grabbing a woman's arm and she looks totally freaked out, but it's unclear what's happening. Reinhardt drops a bomb. The deal with the Dokubai won't last and the star stream will undo it all. He's claiming the star stream won't allow this kind of peace to exist for long, which is a threat, right? Dokja is looking up at something huge and the vibe is all wrong. Reinhardt is totally off his rocker. Reinhardt is now looking directly at Dokja, and honestly his eyes are sending chills down my spine. This dude is just staring and it's super creepy, but he's clearly trying to get a reaction out of Dokja. But then Reinhardt demands the next scenario, like he's running the whole show and Dokja is just a pawn. Reinhardt is laying it all out. He's been waiting for someone like Dokja to show up, someone who knows the story. He claims Dokja is the key to a new scenario, and honestly, it's a total power play. But Reinhardt isn't just talking, he's testing Dokja, pushing him to react and reveal what he knows. This dude is staring Dokja down, searching for something in his eyes. It's a serious mind game right now. Okay, so they're chilling near this massive castle. It's straight up Hogwarts looking and a breeze picks up, but it's kinda ominous, you know. Someone we don't see who yet is trash-talking this dude, calling him a jerk, and it's already clear things are tense. This guy, he's done with this place and declares he's out, saying paradise isn't gonna save him. Super dramatic, honestly. His buddy questions if he's just letting the story play out like the original novel, and it sounds like defeating the main villain is gonna be rough. He admits even if he wins, the villain has too many supporters, meaning a bad ending is likely. Ugh, seriously. But then the question comes up, why did he leave his companions behind? Like, what's the real deal here? He claims they need time off, which sounds like total BS, and his friend is already calling him out on it. His friend doesn't buy it for a second, accusing him of sulking because he treated his team so well, yet they're in trouble. He specifically calls out Huiwen, and it's clear he's got some feelings for her. This is getting messy. He tries to justify Huiwen's choices, saying she's had it tough, but his friend straight up calls it bullcrap. No way he's buying that. Okay, so this dude is laying down the law. Paradise is falling, and someone's about to pay for it. He's fixated on Huiwen, saying she's still wandering around clueless, and it's seriously stressing him out. He doubles down, claiming she made her own choice to stay, so she needs to take responsibility. Ouch. Huiwen calls him the worst, and honestly, she's not wrong. He's being super cold. He tries to play it cool, saying he needs her help, but she's clearly not thrilled about it. Then out of nowhere, he slaps her straight up, a full-on smack to the face. What even? She's reeling, asking what he's doing, and he just deadpans training. He continues the assault, hitting her again and again, but it's revealed she can change her avatar's face. Huiwen is getting absolutely pummeled and yells why me, while enduring the training. This training is brutal, but she's apparently able to shift appearances, so that's something. Okay, so they decide to pretend they are regressors, people who can reset timelines. It's a wild plan. He wants them to focus on the scenarios, but Huiwen's clearly not having it, demanding he get that thing out of her sight. This dude, Kim Dokja, just casually says he'll leave it to the others like it's no big deal. So shady. They're walking through a field now, and he asks why don't we? The tension is building, I swear. Sounds of rattle fill the darkness, and then some weird, colorful static starts to appear. What is happening? Okay, so Kim Dokja wakes up gasping for air, straight up having a nightmare again. He's drenched in sweat, and there's a sword next to him, but it's vibrating like crazy. Every time he wakes up, Dokja finds that sword left behind, and it's driving him nuts. He's replaying the dream of paradise falling into ruin, and it's clearly haunting him. Dokja wonders if all this is because he turned down the captain position. Maybe it's a punishment. The sword is rattling and shaking so hard, it's like it's screaming, totally ominous. He recalls the dream. Dokja finds himself crying out in his sleep every single time. This dude seriously messed up, reliving these terrifying visions over and over again. Dokja tries to figure out what's going on, but it's all a mystery right now. But whatever's happening with the sword and the dreams, it's clearly linked to something big. Okay, so Dokja's freaking out. He hears someone yell anywhere in the city and sees a shadowy figure climbing in. Suddenly, a leaf flies past the window, and then another. Something's definitely up. The figure leaps from the window, and everyone outside is shocked. No way did he just jump. Someone on the balcony shouts, but it's quickly drowned out by the chaos. Dokja's friend Hyun-sung thinks Dokja has abandoned them all. Talk about dramatic. But this dude's got bigger problems. Apparently, Dokja's been ditching them a lot. The girl with the sword asks what's going on with Dokja, and Hyun-sung throws out a theory: main characters ditch allies. She presses him for why, and Hyun-sung lays it on thick. Allies just get in the way. Everyone's just slumped, completely defeated, and Dokja's nowhere to be seen. Seriously, where's our buy? This is getting intense, and honestly, we need answers. Okay, so Dokja's giving everyone a stats check. Apparently, they've been training in their free time. He's telling Gillion to make his skills last longer, suggesting patience or persistence if he has coins. Jihai gets the same advice, but she apparently put all her points into agility. Oops. Dokja explains that fighting styles change based on what stats you invest in, which is intense. He tells Yuseung to max out taming and interspecies communication and even offers help. Our boy's a pro. But then Hyun-sung interrupts, asking what Dokja even did before all this. Talk about awkward. Hyun-sung presses him, saying he assumed Dokja, as Dokja's incarnation, would know. Dokja explains that incarnations learn more about their supporting constellations as they sync up. Deep lore. Hyun-sung keeps pushing and straight up asks about Dokja. What did he do? And the final line, just Dokja. This is building to something huge. I can feel it. Okay, so Hyun-sung is really digging for info about Dokja's past, like what was his life even like before all this. Dokja's face drops and he starts recounting how he was just a regular office worker, basically invisible to everyone, but then he admits it wasn't entirely true. Okay, so things are heating up. These guys are about to arrest someone claiming they know about her crimes. But she's not going down without a fight. She yells at them to wait, and honestly, good for her. This other dude steps in, threatening to arrest her if she interferes again. Straight up power move, bro. She's like, arrest me, and you can see she's totally confused, but also not backing down. An old man tries to tell her it's useless, that these guards won't listen. Apparently, this place has some serious rules. She's standing tall, though, and doesn't look scared, even with all these guards surrounding her. They're dragging her away, and it sounds like they're taking her to the underground dungeon. No way. The guards say no one is allowed down there except for them. This is getting seriously sketchy. And the final nail in the coffin, no one ever returns from that dungeon. Talk about a bad sign. Whatever they did to people down there, it's clearly messed up. Our girl is walking into a nightmare. She's sobbing, clutching at this dude, and he's awkwardly trying to comfort her. It's a mess. He suddenly pulls her into a tight hug, and she's totally shocked, but she doesn't push him away. They're kneeling on the floor now, and she's burying her face in his shoulder. Super intense. The others just stare, and this one guy says they finally understand what they need to do. Someone's feet are stepping over something, looks like a shoe. This is not good. He's helping her up, and she's still a wreck, but she's leaning on him for support now. They're walking away with the group, and it's clear this whole situation has changed. Another guy looks on, clearly suspicious. He's muttering about how things are unfolding. He says, I guess, and this dude looks straight at him, totally unreadable. He declares they now know what they need to do, and he's giving off major "we have a plan" vibes. Okay, so they're all agreeing Dokja must have intentionally left this mess for them to handle. He's always been the responsible one. But then one of them drops a bomb. Dokja probably took on something way bigger than anyone realizes, seriously. Another guy chimes in, seeing Dokja always goes all in, and honestly, that tracks. This dude is practically vibrating with worry, convinced Dokja is fighting monsters on his own. It's intense. He insists Dokja must have gone ahead to protect them, and everyone seems to buy it, nodding along. Suddenly, a yellow sports car roars into view, kicking up dust and leaves. What the heck is happening? And who's behind the wheel? Our boy Dokja, looking ridiculously cool with sunglasses on, straight up living his best life. He yells that they're living it up, and honestly, mood, this dude knows how to make an entrance. The car speeds off, leaving everyone in the dust, and this is either amazing or completely insane. Dokja's living it up, but I have a feeling there's a serious reason behind this whole show. Something's definitely up. Dokja casually drops that he got this SSS-grade car by completing a hidden scenario. No big deal, right? The car absolutely sprints forward, and it's clear Dokja is showing off, but everyone's starting to question things. They get a detailed item description of the Faragini, made by some mass production maker. Sounds sketchy, honestly. Dokja's thinking this is what it feels like to be a special regressor, basically living the high life. One of the passengers yells that this is exactly what Dokja has been up to all along, and she's totally hyped. Dokja explains he used to work overtime and take public transportation, but those days are over. Mood. She points out that he's finally enjoying the perks, and Dokja looks kinda stunned, like he forgot he deserved this. Gulps, realizing just how different this life is, and honestly, it's a little heartbreaking. Dokja insists it's not every day they get to do something like this, and it's clear he's trying to savor the moment. But this whole thing feels too good to be true, and I have a feeling there's a catch. Dokja's hiding something. Dokja's all smug, saying things are heating up in paradise, but then a constellation straight up announces his death. No way, constellations are reacting, buzzing about Dokja, and one wants to switch channels. What's going on? He's surprised everything is going so smoothly, but I'm screaming because a death announcement just dropped. Dokja's confident he'll clear the scenario quickly, but he tells the driver to stop staring at him. Awkward. Car screeches to a halt and everyone piles out, including a sword-wielding woman and some kids. She grabs Dokja's hand, and it's a surprisingly tender moment, but something feels off. The constellations are going wild, and a notification pops up. An enormous your death. This is insane. Dokja's eyes widen in pure terror as the message hits, and honestly, he looks completely shocked. He's realizing this isn't some easy ride, and things are about to get real messy, real fast. But Dokja's got that determined look in his eyes, and I have a feeling he's already planning his next move. No way, a car is speeding straight towards them, and it's about to plow right into the group. The car crashes, sending everyone flying, and the impact is huge. It's total chaos right now. Dokja's pinned under the wreckage, and he's desperately trying to lift the car off of him. He manages to get a grip on the car's side, straining every muscle, but it's barely budging. This is intense. However, he's not alone. Someone grabs onto the car with him, lending their strength to the effort. Together they heave, and the car finally lifts enough for Dokja to scramble free. But what just happened? Dokja Kim is cruising along, smelling wine for some reason, when suddenly he's halted by a mysterious figure. This hooded guy approaches, and Dokja's immediately suspicious, like, what message could this even be about? No way, this dude is an incarnation of Dionysus, straight up a god showing up out of nowhere. Dionysus has a message for Dokja, which is already a bad sign, and Dokja is not impressed. Dokja asks if this is some kind of death notice, and honestly, he's probably right at this point. He questions if this guy was one of the people who read his fate, trying to figure out what's going on. Turns out it wasn't them directly, but Olympus, the whole system that knew what was coming for Dokja. Dokja is processing this, clearly thinking about what a split within Olympus would even mean. Dionysus confirms Dokja's suspicions. Things are moving way faster than the original novel predicted. The split within Olympus should have happened after the 10th scenario, but it's happening now. This is escalating quickly. Dionysus reveals the stronger constellations are actually scared of Dokja's influence, which is a lot to unpack. Apparently, some constellations believe this scenario is the one they've all been dreading, and that's a super ominous sign. Dokja realizes he must be a nuisance to these constellations, and Dionysus confirms it. Yes, really. But here's the kicker, Dokja is already strong and growing faster than other incarnations, making him even more of a threat. Some nebulas want Dokja to join them, while others want him completely erased. Talk about a tough choice. Dokja demands to know why Dionysus is spilling all this info, and honestly, good question. Dionysus starts to explain, and it involves him and a few other constellations. Sounds like a conspiracy brewing. He smirks, and it's clear this isn't just a friendly chat. Something's definitely up with Dionysus. Dionysus says he and others are special, but Dokja's totally not buying it, and neither are we. Dokja doesn't trust Dionysus, and honestly, he's right to be suspicious of this whole situation. Turns out Dionysus needs Dokja's help to deal with a bigger threat, something even the constellations fear. Dokja isn't buying it and calls him out on his shady motives. Our boy isn't easily manipulated, thankfully. Dionysus starts getting all intense, and a creepy, ethereal figure appears near Dokja. Things are getting real. This dude's power is insane. He's literally cracking the very walls of the prison with a thought. The team realizes breaking into the underground dungeon directly is impossible, so they're brainstorming ways to sneak in. Eugen proposes they all look for weaknesses in the dungeon's defenses, which seems like a solid plan. However, Dokja's distracted by the eerie energy around him. Something feels seriously wrong, and he knows it. They start shoving the prisoners down into the dungeon, and honestly, it's brutal. The guards toss everyone into a massive, dark space. It's straight up terrifying, and the prisoners are freaking out. One of the prisoners tries to figure out what's going on, but it's so dark he needs night vision to see. We quickly realize this isn't just a prison, it's a total hole. No beds, no toilets, nothing. Suddenly, the floor gives way with a huge creak, and the prisoners start falling. They land with a clunk in an even deeper, more ominous space. It's like a cave. The prisoners finally get a good look around, and they're shocked. Is this the prison? Eugen points out there are no basic necessities, and it's clear this place is designed to break people. Dokja's still suspicious, and you know he's right to be. Something's seriously off with this whole situation. But the real kicker, this isn't a normal prison. It's a place where hope goes to die. Dokja yells out, desperately asking if anyone is there, but it's eerily silent, bro. A woman screams, spotting something in the darkness, and red eyes are everywhere. No way this is good. She shouts for everyone to run, and a full-blown panic starts with prisoners scrambling to escape. But the darkness is closing in, and something massive is moving. It's like a nightmare unfolding. A terrifying, shadowy hand reaches down and grabs the screaming woman, lifting her into the air. She pleads for help, but another prisoner gets snatched, and the chaos is reaching a fever pitch. Then chomp, a monstrous mouth full of teeth clamps down on a hand, and it's straight up gruesome. Someone falls to the ground, and it looks like they're badly injured, but the monster isn't done yet. The creature's form is revealed. It's huge, pale, and covered in sharp blades, and it's coming for more. It lunges forward, claws extended, and the panel cuts to black. This is getting intense, and our boy Dokja is probably sweating. Dokja doesn't hesitate. He swings his sword in a massive arc, slicing right through the monster. The blade connects, and it's a clean cut, but this thing barely flinches. It's tougher than it looks. He keeps swinging, unleashing a flurry of attacks, but the monster just absorbs the damage, radiating an eerie energy. Suddenly, the monster retaliates, slashing back with its claws. Dokja barely dodges, but gets nicked. He leaps back, leaving a trail of blood, and it's clear this fight is way more dangerous than he thought. But wait, two figures in suits appear, watching the carnage unfold, and they're definitely not helping. The monster crashes down, and we get a horrifying close-up of its face. Those eyes are seriously messed up. Dokja's completely surrounded by blood and monster parts, and honestly, this is a total disaster. Okay, so our boy Dokja just arrives in this insane new scenario and immediately gets greeted by, well, a mess. This dude, who's apparently an archangel's incarnation, is straight up terrifying, surrounded by these monster things. Another monster asks if Dokja finally decided to become the captain of the guards here. What is happening? Things escalate fast with monsters lunging at Dokja, but he's totally unfazed, casually holding his swords. One of the monsters asks how Dokja can talk about freedom after creating this nightmarish place, which is a fair point. But Dokja just laughs, which is unsettling because he's clearly playing some kind of game with these creatures. We see more monsters, all snarling and creepy, and then a guy is getting absolutely wrecked in the background. Someone yells about being free from the scenarios, and honestly, who wouldn't want that at this point? The monsters are closing in, and there's blood everywhere. It's a total chaotic mess, no way. Dokja is just standing there, totally calm amidst the carnage, and it's clear he's got a plan brewing. Dokja activates his time of judgment skill and straight up chains of light appear, sparking like crazy. He's wielding a sword now, looking all intense, and these massive red things are about to get chained up. Those red things are getting bound by the chains. It's a full-on magical lockdown, no escape. Dokja's staring down someone looking super serious, while a dude gets absolutely demolished behind him. A blonde guy appears and honestly, his stare is intense, like he's judging everyone's life choices. The constellations apparently left the decision to deal with this to another guy named Huiwen Jian. Wild. Dokja just drops a bomb. There's no such thing as a perfect paradise, and the blonde guy looks shook. Someone's on the ground and it's looking pretty grim, but Dokja is still standing over them with his sword. People are panicking, but one guy spouts some poetic nonsense about shadows and beauty. Bro, seriously. Dokja's just standing there totally unbothered while everything around him falls apart. He's got this. Dokja's asking what the heck they're breeding these monsters for, and if this guy plans to conquer Dark Castle. The blonde dude just coldly says he won't do anything, but then reveals they aren't breeding them for conquest. He's straight up saying these monsters aren't more than nutrients, and Dokja looks horrified. We get a huge look at this massive tree, covered in creepy red things, and it's clear those nutrients are people. Dokja's staring at the tree, realizing something huge, while the blonde dude just stands there. He points out that demons don't attack this place, which is super weird when Dark Castle is crawling with them. Dokja notices a white flower, and then asks if anyone else thinks this whole situation is strange. Blonde dude is all, "Don't you find it strange?" And then a tentacle thing wiggles ominously. Dokja's got this look on his face like he just connected the dots, and it's not good and not good at all. This tree is the source of it all, and Dokja's figured out it's not just a tree, it's a monster farm. Dokja realizes the tree isn't just growing people, it's actively grabbing them, and it's happening fast. Someone yells for help, but it's drowned out as the tree snatches up another victim, and honestly, it's brutal. The blonde dude just watches as people are pulled into the tree, saying it's been a while since it's eaten. Dokja's trying to grab onto something, anything, but the tree's reach is insane. It's like a tidal wave of limbs. The tree's tendrils wrap around a guy, and he's screaming, then swallowed whole. No way. People are flying everywhere as the tree goes into overdrive, and this dude is just casually observing the chaos. Dokja's desperately trying to reach his sword, but the tree's got him pinned. This is bad, really bad. We get a close-up of the tree's mouth. It's covered in glistening, pulsing growths, super creepy. The tree starts digesting someone, and the sound effects are not okay. Gluck, gluck. It's horrifying. Another victim is pulled into the tree's core, and the green glow inside is getting brighter. This thing is feeding. Dokja's sword finally breaks free, and he lunges, aiming straight for the tree's core. It's all or nothing. He slices through the tree, and a blinding light explodes outwards. It's like a supernova. No way. We get a flashback to the beginning when Dokja first started reading the novel. It's a full circle moment. The tree's core is revealed, and it's a castle, but it's broken, decaying, and filled with blood. The blonde dude is fully absorbed, and the tree starts violently shaking, like it's having a seizure. Dokja's getting ripped apart, limbs flailing, and honestly, it's brutal, but he's not giving up. The tree's mouth opens wider, and the blonde dude's face is visible, twisted in agony and covered in gore. Then everything goes white and the castle is fully restored, but at what cost? This is insane. This place, it's paradise, and straight up, it's where all the demons are made. No wonder it feels so wrong. Every month they release the demons born here, but there's a limit to how many they can contain. It's overflowing. Dokja's wading through a sea of demon goo, and this blonde dude is ranting about how someone had to create a place for all these losers. But Dokja just stares him down, saying someone had to do something, and honestly, the tension is thick. The blonde insists life goes on even for the failures, but Dokja's not buying it. This dude is delusional. He says if the blonde really wanted to help, he should have helped them survive the scenarios, not just create a dumping ground. The blonde drops a bomb. The enemy in the next scenario isn't beatable, and Dokja's face says it all, bro. He knows this is bad. Okay, so this powerful dude, a constellation, is laying down some serious truth. They aren't gods, just beings born during a scenario. But here's the kicker, no one has ever actually finished a scenario ever. Straight up, this world is a never-ending hell. We get a peek at the scenario list, and it's endless, scenario after scenario, each one more brutal than the last. Scenario #9 is especially messed up. The difficulty and clear conditions are literally question marks. No reward, only death if you fail. This dude realizes the only reason anyone survives is because he creates a safe haven, a paradise to protect them. Paradise isn't sustainable, it's crumbling because there are fewer humans and more demonic creatures running around. He explains they're running out of resources to maintain the land, and honestly, it's a total disaster waiting to happen. Our boy is desperate. He needs to find a way to fix things or paradise will fall and everyone will suffer. The demonic creatures are multiplying and the human population is shrinking. It's a grim situation, to say the least. He's basically saying they're on borrowed time and the land is about to collapse without a major solution. Talk about pressure. He's laying it all out. They need to punish people who have been messing up and he needs help to do it. But wait, a totally unhinged monster bursts onto the scene and it's straight up terrifying. This monster is flapping around like a bat from hell, and it's clear this meeting is about to go south fast. One of the guys looks like he's about to have a breakdown. The constellations are watching him now. He's thinking aloud if he could just do something, anything to fix this mess. Another dude is like, if my death could save millions, which is a super dramatic mood shift. However, he immediately follows that up with, but what about my life? Relatable, honestly. Now we see another guy kneeling, looking totally defeated and ready to sacrifice himself. He's weighing the cost of saving everyone versus his own survival. Talk about a heavy choice. This is intense. It's like everyone's realizing the gravity of the situation and what they might have to give up. This dude is laying down a serious truth bomb. He calls someone out for being the most unforgiving when it comes to injustice. He's dropping knowledge, saying this person especially hates when people abuse their power, and it's kinda chilling. He's listing off things he knows about this person, secrets, basically, and it's clear he's not messing around. He says they kept participating in these messed up scenarios, and honestly, that's the whole problem according to him. But then he drops a twist. He thinks they should keep taking part in the scenarios. What is this dude planning? He's convinced Dokja didn't give up, even knowing the truth behind this whole crazy situation. He admits he's killed a lot of people. Whoa, heavy confession right there. And now he's saying he's been waiting for a chance to atone for his actions. A redemption arc, maybe. We get a closer look at this mysterious guy, and his vibe is intense to say the least. But hold up, is that a demonic presence lurking behind him? No way this is going to be easy. He straight up tells everyone to live, even if his choices cause a ton of deaths, which is a lot to unpack. This dude's gripping his sword, and it looks like he's bracing for a massive fight, but something's off. He's declaring someone must become nourishment for this paradise, and it's seriously messed up. What is happening? We see this shadowy figure descending from above, looking like pure nightmare fuel, and honestly, it's terrifying. The shadowy figure transforms into this monstrous beast, all teeth and claws, and it's clearly targeting our boy. He's unleashing a fiery attack, a blazing sword swing, trying to take down that monster, but it's a desperate move. Our boy is getting absolutely swarmed, engulfed in darkness, and it looks like he's losing ground fast. He's fighting like crazy, but the monster is relentless, and it's clear this isn't just a physical battle. This dude is pushing himself to the absolute limit, but the monster is adapting, growing stronger with every blow. However, he's not giving up and is clearly willing to sacrifice everything to protect what he believes in. He's taking a beating, but our boy manages to land a blow, shattering the monster's arm. It's brutal. But the monster doesn't even flinch, and it's clear this fight is on a whole different level. He's yelling for Huiwen, desperately trying to reach her, but the monster keeps advancing. This dude's unleashing some kind of energy, a glowing attack trying to create space. It's intense. The monster grabs him and straight up starts eating him. No way, this is horrifying. But Huiwen isn't backing down and she's charging forward, a determined look on her face. She's close enough to strike and she unleashes a massive energy blast, aiming right for the monster. The blast connects, sending debris flying, and for a second it looks like they might have a chance. However, the monster is still standing, and it's now focused its attention on Huiwen. Oh no. People are running, trying to escape the chaos, but it's looking grim for everyone involved. He's calling out to everyone, but it's clear he's in serious pain. This is rough, man. The monster is grinning, straight up saying it's gonna get a ton of nutrients from people. Oh hell no. Turns out the monster is working with other constellations, and they all believe Dokja will reach the end. But they're not rooting for him to win, they're counting on him to be the ultimate source of nourishment. This dude is fully embracing villain mode, and it's sending shivers down my spine. He believes Dokja is the perfect sacrifice, and honestly, it's terrifyingly confident. He's declaring Dokja will reach the end, but not as a victor, as a meal for the constellations. Our boy is in for the fight of his life, and this villain is already 3 steps ahead. Okay, so things are insane. A massive battle just happened and the ground is completely wrecked. Everyone's looking around, but they're not celebrating. Something's off, and they're immediately asking where Dokja is. Lee Jihai is frantically searching, and honestly, it's super tense because Dokja just disappeared mid-fight. We get a quick shot of a mysterious figure in the shadows observing the chaos. Who is this dude? Cut to a car ride. Lee Jihai and Lee Xiaohua are talking, and it seems they're trying to figure out what happened to Dokja. They're discussing the possibility of Dokja being targeted, and the vibe is super worried. Something big is going down. But hold up, the scene shifts and it looks like someone just got ambushed, straight up attacked from behind. A brutal sword slash, no way, and it's clear someone's down and things are escalating quickly. Our boy Dokja is in trouble and it's a mess of blood and chaos. This is gonna be a wild episode, I can feel it. They're demanding to know why anyone needs Dokja, but someone shouts he's in danger. Talk about bad timing. Someone's grilling them about whether they are sure about Dokja being in danger, but they insist he's not mistaken. Oh no, a horde of monstrous creatures surrounds them, and they're completely overwhelmed, bro. Everyone huddles together as the monsters close in, and it's straight up terrifying. This is a nightmare. Lee Jihai realizes how dire things are, clutching onto someone in fear. They're seriously outmatched. Someone's fingers snap, no way, and the sound echoes, adding to the tension as the creatures swarm. They decide to escape through the roof, and honestly, it's their only shot at getting out of here. This dude is gathering energy in his hand. It's the 100-step godly fists, and it looks intense. He unleashes the attack, sending a wave of energy toward the monsters, and it's a desperate attempt to buy time. The monsters are flying backwards, but there are so many. This is a losing battle, and it's brutal. Dokja straight up snaps a monster's neck with his bare hands, no hesitation, just brutal efficiency. He's launching a flurry of punches, each one landing with a sickening smack and sending monsters flying. But this one monster is different. It's huge, and Dokja's grabbing its head, preparing to deliver a massive blow. The impact is insane. A crack echoes as he crushes the monster's skull, and debris rains down. Our boy isn't stopping. He's unleashing a spark-filled attack, blasting monsters left and right. Lee Jihai and the others are watching in disbelief. They can't believe he's doing all this with his bare hands. Jihai realizes they might not have survived if Dokja hadn't shown up, and it's hitting her hard. Another monster lunges, but Dokja intersects, grabbing it midair and slamming it into the ground with a thud. He's a whirlwind of destruction, tearing through the monster horde with unbelievable speed and power. And honestly, the sheer force of his attacks is creating a crater. This dude is a monster himself. Dokja notices the kids are struggling with the climb. It's way too steep for them, and he's gotta do something. He decides to make steps, but not just any steps. He's using the bodies of the monsters he just wrecked. One monster tries to attack him, but Dokja grabs it, uses it as a stepping stone, and throws it down. The monster plops onto the rocks, creating a gruesome but effective staircase for the kids. The kids are horrified by the monster steps, but they're climbing now, so that's all that matters. Dokja brushes off his coat like it's nothing. This dude is completely unfazed by the monster carnage. Suddenly, a voice asks if he's Yumyak Yu, the incarnation, and it's clear someone's been watching. He keeps moving, ignoring the question, with the knight and another figure following closely behind. Dokja strides forward, taking another step, and you can tell he's completely focused on protecting everyone. And honestly, this whole situation is just escalating, and we're here for it. A massive tree root explodes upwards, sending rocks flying. It's a straight-up earthquake. Someone's been watching Dokja, and they immediately ask if he's Yumyak Yu, the incarnation. He tells the kids they can't come with him, but Yujin refuses to be left behind. She's so stubborn. This dude tries to push Yujin off the cliff, thinking he can get rid of her easily. Yujin plummets over the edge and everyone's shocked. No way, this is intense. Another kid, Soyin, tries to stop the attacker, yelling at him to join Yujin. But the attacker just shoves Soyin too, sending her tumbling over the cliff as well. Dokja is furious and straight up grabs the attacker, pinning him to the edge. He's holding on tight, but the attacker is struggling. This is a brutal fight for survival. Dokja's breathing heavily, clearly losing control, and his face is a mask of rage. Everyone's freaking out as the ground rumbles and a dark figure starts rising from the dust. People think it's monsters, but someone assures them the guards will handle it. Famous last words, right? But the figure isn't some random monster. It's a seriously intense man in a black coat, and he's radiating power. He just appears, towering over everyone, and it's clear this isn't a simple monster attack. This dude asks what's going on, and it's clear he's shocked, but Dokja's already sizing up the situation. Turns out, this man once tried to protect the city alongside Reinheit. That's some backstory. He's dropping hints about past failures, and honestly, it feels like he's connected to everything. Dokja hears him out, and you can tell he's piecing things together. Our boy's brain never stops working. This is getting good, bro. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Mr. Yomiok-yu is straight up confronted by a creepy, horned dude. Talk about a bad day at the office. This guy challenges you to a fight, and honestly, our boy looks kinda annoyed more than scared. Respect. Everything goes black for a beat, and you just know something massive is about to go down. The monster is covered in spider-like creatures, and people are yelling monster. Total chaos erupts. Someone cries for help as they're swarmed, and it's a grim reminder of the danger everyone is in. Yu stomps on something and you can see a flower getting crushed. It's a small moment in all this madness. But the real shocker, the title card slams in. Omniscience, things are about to get real. Heimdall's tentacles whip out fast as anything and grabs a bunch of people. Total chaos erupts. One of the tentacles wraps around a dude, and Heimdall straight up says he needs energy. Creepy. This guy tries to fight back, but Heimdall just squeezes him, and it's not pretty, bro. But wait, Yu flies in, sword blazing, and is determined to stop this monster from hurting anyone. He swings his sword, creating a fiery arc, and shouts, "Stop immediately. Our boy means business." Yu slices right at Heimdall's tentacle, but it barely flinches. This dude is seriously powerful. Another civilian yells at Heimdall, demanding to know why he's attacking the city he's supposed to protect. Heimdall doesn't even care though, he's too focused on draining energy from his victims. Yu keeps swinging, a whirlwind of fire and steel, determined to protect everyone from this monster. However, Heimdall's tentacles are everywhere, and it's gonna take everything Yu's got to win this fight. Heimdall's just done, he declares it's over, all for the sake of paradise. Talk about a villain monologue. The city is getting wrecked, buildings are collapsing, and it's pure devastation, bro. People are getting torn apart by Heimdall's tentacles. It's brutal, and someone yells for their lord. Yu's still fighting, slicing through tentacles, but Heimdall doesn't even flinch. This is a serious power gap. Heimdall casually dismisses the destruction as just small trees. Seriously, this guy is unhinged. But Yu's not backing down. He decides to start everything over, meaning he's going all out, no holding back. Yu unleashes a massive blast of energy with his sword. It's a desperate move, but he's determined. The energy wave sweeps across the city, taking out everything in its path. It's a total wipeout. Heimdall's tentacles try to intercept, but the power is overwhelming. They're getting shredded. The attack finally reaches Heimdall and the screen goes white. No way did he actually do it. No way Yu's attack actually crushes Heimdall, or so it seems, leaving a massive crater. But wait, Heimdall isn't dead. He's absorbing the energy from the attack, growing even stronger. This dude is straight up a parasite, feeding on souls to become more powerful. It's terrifying. Heimdall reveals he's been building a paradise fueled by the despair of others, and it's deeply messed up. Heimdall starts brutally attacking the remaining humans, draining their life force. It's horrific, honestly. Yu tries to intervene, but Heimdall swats him away like a fly. The power difference is insane right now. Suddenly, a blinding light erupts, and a figure emerges from within Heimdall's massive form. It's a being of pure energy, with long, flowing hair, and it's radiating power, bro. This entity is the true form of Heimdall, the one behind the demon marquee, and it's absolutely majestic. Heimdall, or rather this being, declares what a great feeling it is, and we know things are about to get wild. You standing there looking up at Heindel, totally stunned, but Heindel's impressed by Yu's power. Heindel admits he took Yu under his wing last round, but now he's changing the rules. Straight up savage, Heindel says he's going to kill Yu this time, no holding back. Yu doesn't even flinch, he's got that killer instinct, and he's ready to return the favor. Ground is crumbling around them, buildings are falling. This fight is literally tearing the world apart. Heindel is showering the area with energy, but Yu just stands firm, absorbing the attack. Yu's declaring that Heindel is a monster, and honestly, he's not wrong. The fight intensifies as Yu charges forward, weapons drawn, and Heindel prepares to meet him. But Heindel's so massive, Yu looks like an ant challenging a giant. The scale of this is insane. Yu's coming in hot, ready to end it, and Heindel is just waiting, confident he'll win. Yu announces the first step of transcendence is pushing past physical limits. This dude is getting serious. He declares the second step is reaching a higher level, and it's all about surpassing those who came before. But Yu isn't stopping there. The third step, kicking over the ladder Yu climbed, straight up disrespecting the hierarchy. He's laying down some serious philosophy while engulfed in flames. Our boy is a whole mood right now. Yu's face is intense, eyes glowing. He's embracing the power, and it's kinda terrifying, honestly. He's unleashing everything, and Heindel just watches, like he expected this all along. Yu's power explodes outwards, shattering the ground beneath Heindel's feet. Talk about making an entrance. However, Heindel isn't fazed at all. He's confident Yu's just a stepping stone. But then a voice cuts through everything, saying what matters is finding your own story. No way, this is getting deep. Okay, so our boy is ready to go full power, using some transcendence ability and a giant transformation to win this fight. Someone asks what they'll do if they can't go underground, but this dude's already sent someone else to handle that problem smooth. He straight up grows into a massive giant and immediately starts slicing through enemies like they're nothing. Total domination. Hold up, someone named Yoongyuk is trying to warn him about something, but our boy doesn't want to hear it. No way, he's getting attacked from behind. Someone clearly got past his defenses and is going for the kill. This guy is freaking out, yelling at Yoongyuk, but it's too late. He's already in a serious fight for his life. And honestly, this dude had it coming, getting ambushed while boasting about his power. Two people are hiding, completely terrified, while monsters surround them. It's a seriously creepy situation. The monsters are closing in, and they look absolutely terrifying, with massive claws and gnashing teeth. But the worst part, the monsters are saying he left them behind with no plan, which is a really bad look. Okay, so someone's trying to warn our boy about a trap, but he's too focused on winning to listen. He's showing off, confident he can handle anything, but a car suddenly comes flying at him. No way, the car crashes right into him, sending him flying. That was a brutal hit. He's clearly hurt, but tries to play it off, even though he's spitting up blood. A giant figure appears, and it's straight up terrifying. This is not good for our boy. The figure unleashes a massive attack, and everything explodes around him. Wait, there's a message. A constellation without a name sighs. What does that even mean? Someone else is sighing too, looking totally defeated and exhausted. This dude is in serious trouble, getting blasted from all sides, and it's looking grim. However, the constellation seems unconcerned, like this whole fight is just a minor inconvenience. He's trying to distract the monsters with his insects, but they are losing effectiveness fast. This is bad. Someone suggests taming the monsters like it's that easy, but the constellation warns his brain will explode. They're cornered, terrified, and our boy's trying to figure out a plan, but it's looking hopeless. Suddenly, a massive, shadowy figure crashes down, and it's huge, like seriously enormous. The figure swings, and they barely dodge, but the force sends them flying through the air. He's trying to protect her, shielding her with his body as they tumble end over end. Wait, the shadowy figure isn't alone. More monsters are swarming around them. She screams, and for a second, it looks like they are completely surrounded, with no escape. However, a bright light flashes, and something is intercepting the attack. What's going on? Everything's a blur of motion and light, and honestly, it looks like they're about to get obliterated. Everyone is frozen, questioning what's happening, but our boy is already piecing things together. The monsters start to react, twitching and moving towards the figure. They are recognizing it as something to fear. This thing is huge, and it's just squirming and shifting, making the ground tremble beneath them. Its claws scrape and grind, creating an awful sound. No way, that's natural. The shadowy figure lets out a low rumble, and the monsters flinch, backing away slowly. But then, even more monsters emerge from the darkness, surrounding the figure and our group. They're all growling and snapping, creating a terrifying chorus of sound. It's a full-blown monster party. Someone finally asks how long this thing has been here, and honestly, it's a good question. The shadowy figure seems to edge forward, and the monsters part, creating a path. This is getting intense. Okay, so this dude is clearly losing it, eyes glowing red and everything. He's completely unhinged. He's practically begging someone to kill him, saying Dokja left him for a reason, and it's in dark. He straight up shoves the injured guy forward, yelling they're all gonna die if they don't act. Before anyone can react, he kicks the other guy, and honestly, it's a brutal move. The shadowy figure finally reacts, a single yellow eye opening in the darkness. Creepy doesn't even cover it. It's moving, and the monsters are parting like the Red Sea, making way for whatever this is. They start running, trying to escape the approaching monster, but it's gaining on them fast. This dude is dragging the injured guy, desperately trying to get away, and it's a chaotic scramble. But the monster is too fast. It reaches out with a massive claw, and things are about to get real bad. The scene cuts to black, and we're left hanging. No way this ends well for anyone. The monster finally grabs one of the guys, and it's a gruesome tear, straight up horrifying, bro. It rips through another monster, and the sound effects are intense. Rip and crack fill the screen. The monster's focus shifts, and it's honing in on something. A bright light is building inside its head. It's a massive explosion of energy, and everything goes white, but this feels different, more controlled. The light fades, and we see the monster changing. It's like it's shedding a shell or something. But the transformation isn't complete. It's still monstrous, still terrifying, and it's clearly angry. The monster lets out a primal roar, and the screen fills with those red crack sound effects again. Everything cuts to black, and honestly, that was a cliffhanger of epic proportions. No way we're safe. Then another flash of black, more cracks, and the red rip sound. This is a full-on nightmare sequence. Okay, so this is intense. Juyoung is getting absolutely wrecked, but he's screaming at himself not to become a monster. But the darkness inside him is taking over, and his eyes are glowing gold, which is never a good sign. He's covered in blood, clearly having a massive internal struggle, and it's heartbreaking, honestly. Suddenly, a golden orb appears in his hand, like a little ball of pure power. It's definitely connected to everything. He's clutching this orb, and we see a flash of someone else's hand, implying someone is trying to take it. The shadowy figure yells, "Let's get out of here together," which is suspicious to say the least. Juyoung is trying to escape with the orb, but a massive blade comes swinging down, and it's a close call. The ground starts shaking, like really shaking, and everything is crumbling around them. No way. Then this huge creepy plant-like being rises from the ruins, and it's surrounded by shadowy figures. It's a disaster. Everyone is staring at this monster, completely shocked, and the whole scene just screams, "We are so screwed." This dude is screaming why, as the plant monster wraps around him. It's straight up crushing him. The monster's vines tighten, and Jian asks why it's doing this, but it's not listening, bro. The vines are cracking his body, and the sound effects are brutal. Crack and crunch are everywhere. He's asking why are you, but it's getting harder to understand him as the monster squeezes tighter. The monster is actively breaking his bones, and it's horrifying. Honestly, Juyoung is in so much pain. The monster continues to crush him, and it's a full-on assault. Crash, sounds like everything is breaking. Juyoung is completely enveloped, and the monster is just relentless. It's a nightmare unfolding. But wait, a golden light bursts from the orb, trying to push back the darkness. It's a desperate move. The light is battling the monster's vines, and for a second, it looks like Juyoung might actually survive. However, the monster is too strong, and it's still constricting him. Our boy is really getting wrecked. Jiyoung screams no, but the monster just keeps crushing him. It's absolutely brutal, honestly. The monster chomps down, and Jiyoung yells no. This is getting seriously intense. The monster's jaws crack something inside him, crack, and it's a sound that'll haunt your nightmares. Suddenly, the ground beneath the monster starts to crumble and break apart with a massive crack. The monster's roots are ripped from the earth, and the whole thing starts to fall, but it's not over yet. Everything explodes in a huge blast boom, and debris is flying everywhere. It's total chaos. Dust and rubble fill the air, and it's hard to see anything. The landscape is completely wrecked. But then a colossal red dragon bursts through the smoke, looking absolutely furious. No way. This dragon is radiating power and it's clearly ready to fight. It's a straight-up boss battle. The dragon surveys the destruction and you can just feel the rage coming off of it. Things are about to get real. Yuseung and Gileong are desperately calling out for Juyeon, but it feels like shouting into the void. The monster suddenly lashes out, grabbing Juyeon with a vine. It's so fast, even with Juyeon's foresight. Jiyeon tries to slash the vine with his sword, but it barely makes a dent. This thing is seriously durable. The monster reels back, clearly hurt, but is just buying time to unleash another, even bigger attack. It whips around, sending Juyeon flying through the air. Our boy is getting launched like a rag doll. Gileong tries to intervene, jumping forward with his sword, but it's not enough to reach Juyeon in time. Juyeon crashes into the ground, and honestly, it looks brutal. He's taking a beating. He's not down for long. Juyeon forces himself up, golden energy erupting around him. He's channeling some serious power, a golden aura enveloping him, and it's clearly a desperate gamble. Juyeon unleashes a massive slash of golden energy. It's a beautiful, devastating attack, but will it even work? Juyeon's attack connects and the monster reels. It's a massive explosion of energy and debris. The dragon, though wounded, lashes out, a vine slamming into Juyeon and sending him sprawling. Gileong tries to intercept, but he's too far away. Juyeon takes the full force of the blow. Juyeon crashes hard, coughing up blood. This dude is seriously getting wrecked, no way. But he's not giving up, forcing himself to stand as golden energy surges around him again. He unleashes another massive slash, but the monster deflects it with surprising ease. It's frustrating. The monster retaliates, a vine striking Juyeon's sword and sending it flying. His weapon is gone. The dragon's attack lands and Juyeon is sent crashing into the wreckage. This is looking grim. He struggles to his feet, clutching his side, and starts coughing. It's a desperate situation. A title card appears, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, but it's foreshadowing something massive, hinting at sacrifice. The dragon is reeling, but it clamps down on Juyeon's sword with terrifying force. It's a brutal struggle. Inside the dragon's mouth, Juyeon's sword is getting crushed, and honestly, it's a bad look for our boy. Juyeon is thrown back and the dragon lets out a deafening roar. It's shaking the whole city. The dragon lashes out again, and this time it's aiming for the people fleeing below. No way it's gonna let them escape. Juyeon, even battered, throws himself in front of the attack, protecting the civilians. What a hero. He's taking a serious beating, but he's still standing, golden energy flaring around him. This dude is relentless. The dragon unleashes a devastating attack and the city is being destroyed. It's absolute chaos and Juyeon is right in the middle of it. Okay, so this mysterious dude in a leather jacket is sizing someone up, and honestly, he looks super intense. He straight up asks for the guy's name, like a bold move considering the situation, but the other guy looks totally unfazed. The guy responds with Dokja Kim, and suddenly, things get weird because a ghostly teal version of Dokja appears. It's like a spirit double smiling creepily, and our boy in the leather jacket is clearly not expecting that. The ghostly Dokja is floating around and the real Dokja looks seriously concerned. This is getting good. Bits of teal energy are flaking off the ghost, falling like, I don't know, spectral confetti. It's unsettling. Ghost Dokja is now fully visible, floating above a dark field, and the leather jacket dude is watching everything unfold. Someone is yelling your name is, and it's a cliffhanger because no way is the ghost taking over. The ghost is hovering and the leather jacket dude is looking at it, like this is about to go down. Talk about tension. Wait a minute, the leather jacket dude is giving Dokja's name to everyone. Dokja's ghost is losing it. Suddenly, a system message pops up. Dokja just unlocked an achievement in his 5th story. What? The crowd starts chanting Dokja Kim, and it's a full-on hero's welcome, but it's so bizarre. Another message appears. The residents of paradise will remember Dokja as the liberator. This is getting epic. And another one, the lonely messiah story is becoming richer because of Dokja. But what does that even mean? Someone, a constellation called the demonic judge of fire, is crying tears of camaraderie. Seriously. A massive dragon descends from the sky and everyone is looking up, completely awestruck. The dragon lands and the crowd parts, giving the beast a clear path. This is insane. One of the women asks Sangha why she looked for Dokja earlier, and Sangha is about to drop some truth. She explains she was looking for the ghostly Dokja, the teal spirit, and everyone is staring, completely confused. Everyone is reeling. They think Dokja was killed by someone he loves, which is a wild accusation. Turns out the ghostly Dokja overheard Mori's prophecy, and now everyone's scrambling to understand it. They point out Dokja always comes back to life, but someone warns the prophecy from Olympus is no joke. Someone asks what any of this matters, and honestly, good question because everyone's panicking. Jihai, looking shocked, wonders who this someone he loves could be. The tension is killing me. Group demands Jihai do something. She's clearly holding back information, and it's frustrating. Jihai admits it. She thinks she might be the one in the prophecy, and she's scared. The ghostly Dokja is right there, looking all ethereal, while Jihai spills the beans. This is huge. Jihai believes she's the killer in the prophecy, and it's a total game changer. Now everyone is staring at Jihai, and this dude is straight up speechless because what a twist. Okay, so Huiwen jumps in and says Dokja's acting different around Sangha. Total awkwardness alert. Someone blurts out that Dokja might like Sangha, and this dude flinches like he's been shot. Jihai tries to play it off, saying they were just work colleagues, but then admits Dokja helped her a lot. But then Huiwen throws another bomb. She thinks she was the one in the prophecy about Dokja being killed by someone he loves. Everyone's staring at Huiwen, and honestly, she looks terrified to have said it. This is wild. They're comparing it to a hot potato game, passing the blame around like crazy. We get a close-up of Sangha, looking completely shocked by everything that's happening. Suddenly, the ghostly Dokja appears, floating in the air, while everyone continues to speculate. Huiwen saying Dokja likes Sangha, and it's a total mess. The tension is unreal. And honestly, the whole situation is spiraling out of control. Everyone's throwing accusations around. Okay, so Jihai's freaking out, insisting it can't be true that Dokja's the one in danger. Huiwen doubles down, saying no way, she's the one who's supposed to kill him, and she's sweating bullets. But then Sangha yells, "What are you looking at?" She's clearly had enough of this drama. Everyone turns to stare at Sangha, and honestly, this is getting seriously messy. Huiwen tries to backtrack, claiming she just meant Dokja and Sangha were close, but it's not working. Jihai's losing it, insisting she and Dokja were just colleagues, but then admits he helped her a ton. Huiwen blurts out that she thought she was the one who'd killed Dokja, and she looks totally horrified. They're all passing the blame around like a hot potato, and Dokja's ghost is just chilling there, watching the chaos. Huiwen keeps pushing that Dokja likes Sangha. It's a total mess, and the tension is so thick you can cut it. Straight up, the whole situation is spiraling. Accusations are flying, and everyone's losing their minds. They're all cornering Yuseung, demanding he spill what he knows, but he's totally checked out. Sangha suddenly realizes something. She's staring right at Dokja, and it hits her hard. She blurts out that he's been listening to everything this whole time, and the room goes silent. Dokja just smirks, casually leaning back like he knew this whole showdown was coming. What a player. Okay, so this dude, Kim Dokja, just scored this insane item called the Affection Reader. It's SS grade, no joke. It's a heart-shaped device that basically tells you how much someone likes you, and everyone is losing it over it. The item description says you just push the button and think of the person, and the affection level appears in the air, straight up magical. People are hailing Dokja like he's a saint for having it, but a mysterious constellation is practically screaming at him to use it. They're debating who to test it on first, and someone suggests starting with Huiwen, which feels pointed. Dokja pushes the button, thinking of Huiwen, and the device starts glowing. Everyone's holding their breath. No way, the affection reader shows 54 points for Huiwen, and Dokja looks totally shocked by the number. Someone else raises their hand, eager to try the device next, clearly wanting to know where they stand. But this is where it gets interesting. The constellation, demonic judge of fire, is still pushing Dokja to use the item. And honestly, the tension is killing me. What's the deal with Huiwen, and why is this constellation so obsessed with the reader? Okay, so Dokja pushes the button again, this time thinking of Yujung, and the reader beeps. No way, a ghostly figure of someone named Lee Jihai appears next to Yujung, freaking Dokja out. Dokja gets 49 points for Yujung, but honestly, he looks way more concerned about the ghost than the score. Next up is a random guy, and Dokja gets 50 points, but the constellation is still not satisfied. A blonde dude steps forward, confident he'll score the highest, and Dokja reluctantly checks the reader. And boom, the blonde dude does score the highest, and he's grinning like he won the lottery. But the constellation is seriously losing it, yelling at Dokja to keep using the reader. What is its deal? Dokja tries to hand the reader to someone else, but the blonde dude snatches it away before he can. The blonde dude is about to press the button when the woman in black grabs for the reader, clearly wanting it back. The woman in black smirks, and Dokja is straight up staring at her with a look that says, "I knew this would happen." The woman in black is suddenly engulfed in golden energy, and honestly, it looks kinda ominous. She's clutching the pink reader, and the energy racks around it. It's like she's absorbing power. She's completely wrapped in golden light now, and her dress is changing. It's getting fancier, bro. We get a full view of her new outfit, a sleek black dress with lace details and thigh-high stockings. Talk about a glow-up. Dokja is staring at her, totally freaked out, and the ghostly figure of Lee Jihai looks equally confused. The blonde dude is questioning what's happening, pointing out the expensive dress, but the woman ignores him. She's just floating now, and the ghostly figure seems to be fading away, and Dokja is losing it. Someone yells at her to hurry up and try the reader Senga, but she's barely acknowledging anyone. She presses a button on the reader, and it starts glowing and beeping like crazy. This is getting intense. The reader is flashing, and honestly, this feels like a major turning point, and Dokja knows it. Dokja is getting points of affection for Jihai, 481 of them, but he hasn't even put the reader on yet. What is going on? He demands that Huiwen pass him the reader, and she actually listens. Finally, someone's being reasonable. She hands it over, and Dokja immediately starts putting it on, but then a beeping sound and a notification pop up. The screen shows he has 481 points of affection for Jihai, and everyone is staring at him like he's grown a second head. Dokja is completely baffled. How is he racking up affection points before even using the reader? This is wild. Suddenly, everyone is looking at the woman in black, and you can feel the tension building. Something's about to go down. This dude is clutching his hands, clearly stressed, and muttering about how embarrassing this whole situation is. He admits he didn't want this to happen, and honestly, we get it, bro. This is a mess. The woman in black is just standing there silent, and it's making everyone even more uneasy. No way, Dokja has 481 points of affection for Jihai now. This is escalating quickly, and we're on the edge of our seats. Yuseum is panicking, asking what's wrong with Mr., and this dude is straight up fading away. Mr. apologizes to Yuseum, but he's dissolving into nothing, and Yuseum is desperately asking what's happening. Mr. floats in the air, looking completely wrecked, and asks if this is what's happening. It's super ominous. Yuseum yells for Mr., but he's fading fast, and it's looking really, really bad for him. It reveals the art team and original story writer, then the episode and chapter details. Dr. Kim's Love Part 11. Someone's flipping through a book, and it's a total cliffhanger. What's going on with all this? Our boy is hiding in a tiny space, reading a book. It's like his safe zone, seriously. The book's text is all about reality versus fiction, asking how we tell them apart. Deep stuff. He remembers a sky that felt like a field of snow, something that was just for him. This place, this hiding spot, was perfect for young Dokja, a kid who just wanted to disappear. He recalls it being too small to even lie down in, but it was exactly what he needed. The pages of the book are filled with text, a blur of words that seem to hold a secret. But wait, the episode title is Dokja Kim's Love Part 11. What is happening? And then a woman appears, smirking, watching him. She looks kinda creepy, not gonna lie. No way, the story is about him, Dokja. It's like the entire world is focusing on our boy. Okay, so things are wild. Our boy just got hit by something, and his 8 lives attribute activates. He's coughing, clearly messed up, but the system immediately tells him he's gained intelligence as a special ability. He wakes up, or well, he's floating amongst the clouds, totally confused about where he is and how he died. He remembers leaving his friend Sai-yong to protect him, then flashes to being in a car and suddenly dying while asleep. This dude pieces together that someone killed him in his sleep and immediately suspects Sai-yong. No way. A blue screen pops up, awarding him an achievement, the Messiah who knows shame. Seriously. He's questioning why he'd earned that achievement and if he actually died from embarrassment. What even is this? But honestly, he's way more focused on figuring out who offed him, and his eyes are practically glowing with suspicion. Another achievement notification hits, a new one for his 5th story. This is getting complicated fast. He's seriously wondering if he died of embarrassment, which, let's be real, is a totally valid concern at this point. So Sae-young explains they were attacked while he was asleep and he's seriously wounded, but our boy is immediately suspicious. Sae-young says the attackers were masked and she did her best to protect him, but it wasn't enough. Wait for it, his lie detection skill activates and confirms Sae-young is telling the truth. This dude's got layers. Sae-young is pissed he's getting interrogated instead of gratitude and demands to know who attacked them. She says they were all masked, but then drops a bomb. She's been struggling for 3 days because of him. Our boy realizes 8 lives has a cooldown period and things start clicking. He remembers the timeline. He's worried his friends moved on to the next scenario, and if they did, his whole plan is ruined. No pressure. Sae-young admits she explored before he woke up but found nothing, just clouds. She gave up already. And then Sae-young straight up asks if he thinks she's just goofing off with clones to kill time. Savage. But honestly, he's using his lie detection skill on her because he's convinced she's hiding something. He realizes Sae-young is getting stronger by making clones and wonders if there are any limits to the skill. Sae-young says she can make as many clones as she has mana, but the white-haired guy interrupts, it's cheating. Turns out each clone costs Sae-young a piece of her memory, which is a huge restriction, no way. She says she usually gives up useless memories and gets them back when the clones return, pretty smart. However, sometimes the clones go out of control and she can't get the memories back. Yikes. She explains there's a clone she made when she first used the skill that's currently rogue. She must have given it too much memory and now it's completely uncontrollable. This is bad news. Sae-young says it's still out there and our boy is starting to realize the situation is way more complicated than he thought. This dude is now connecting the dots. The uncontrolled clone is likely the one attacking them. And honestly, this uncontrolled clone is a serious problem and our boy knows he needs to deal with it ASAP. Sae-young insists she's sane, but our boy is not buying it. He calls her out on giving memories to clones. She snaps at him to shut up and then reveals the memories weren't important anyway. Sketchy. She remembers the rogue clone was created by members of Nebula, Ved, and Tamna, and they gave her vague instructions. She's forgetting details about their modifications, but they wanted her to make the right choice. What does that even mean? Turns out the rogue clone is connected to Goryeo, an old Korean kingdom, and specifically a warrior. Someone named Yoon-young-cheok is being floated as a possibility, but the info is fragmented and unreliable. Our boy realizes even if this is a symbolic form, a constellation appearing here is consuming too much probability. Sae-young points out the rogue clone didn't say much before vanishing. It just stared at a corpse and left. He's piecing it together. The clone's behavior was odd, straight up unsettling. But then he remembers the clone didn't even react to the scenario, which is seriously messed up. They're suddenly soaring through a cosmic landscape. It's a straight-up dimension of stars and clouds. Our boy realizes they're in the cosmic dimension and immediately asks who isn't showing their face. A massive, swirling figure begins to materialize, and it's intense, like a ghost made of smoke and lightning. The figure speaks in no way it recognizes our boy. It claims they've met before. This dude isn't thrilled, stating he's not happy to see this particular someone again. The figure's form is almost fully revealed, and it's definitely someone from our boy's past. He's clearly shaken but tries to play it cool, asking what this whole situation is about. The figure just laughs, and honestly, it's a seriously creepy laugh. But then our boy remembers this entity was also connected to the uncontrolled clone. Everything's clicking into place. He's piecing it all together, realizing the rogue clone was a messenger for this guy, and it all feels super ominous. Straight up, everything explodes. The cosmic dimension is getting wrecked, and our boy is right in the middle of it. This dude is furious. Apparently they forgot about him again, and he's not taking it well. He launches forward, fists clenched, ready to throw down, but the figure just scoffs. Our boy is getting tossed around like a rag doll, taking a beating, but he's clearly not backing down. More explosions, it's a full-on brawl, and honestly, this dude is unleashing some serious power. Okay, so Dokja is straight up reliving everything. It seems like a total rewind, no way. Suddenly, a knife comes crashing down and we hear Dokja. It's super ominous and intense, bro. Someone's accusing him of doing something terrible, referencing what his father did, and it's a massive reveal. She tries to play it off like it was self-defense, but her smile is seriously unsettling. Something's off. We see a body on the floor and a woman comforting a kid, asking if he's okay, but it feels so wrong. Now we cut to a tense standoff, a man in a white coat facing a woman on the couch. The atmosphere is thick. The woman drops a bomb. She loves him more than anything, which is kinda creepy given everything else. Episode 195 ends with a black screen, leaving us on a total cliffhanger. What is even happening? But then we jump to chapter 33 and everything's starting over. This dude is trapped in a loop. Okay, so the man clutches his fist, muttering mother. It's a total emotional gut punch. She reveals she suffered for over 10 years because of her, and our boy is straight up stunned. She keeps going, saying she loves him, but it feels so calculated, so wrong. He wonders if she thinks saying I love you will magically fix things. Yeah, good luck with that. He's spiraling, convinced she's lying, and his face is a mask of barely contained rage. She insists it's too late for apologies, but then throws him a curveball. She's never told anyone this before. He demands to know why she's saying all this now, and the tension is insane. She explains she doesn't think she'd ever say it again, but it feels like a trap, honestly. But then she says because, and it cuts to black. No way, another cliffhanger. He demands to know why she never told him any of this, and asks why she gave him the silent treatment for so long. She reveals she wrote a book filled with notes from a murderer. What is going on? This dude's life was apparently hell, whether at school or on the streets, and everyone was always talking about him. He moved and transferred schools repeatedly, but nothing ever changed. People just kept judging him. He confesses he's always been known as the son of a murderer, and honestly, it's a heartbreaking reveal. We get a full-page spread of murderer's notes from underground, and it's creepy AF. This book is clearly important. The final panel shows a swirling vortex of energy, with something glowing at the center. It's super ominous. Wait, is that a giant eye opening within the vortex? Seriously, what is this world even? It's all purple and glowing, and this dude is walking straight toward it, like he has no self-preservation instincts. The eye fully opens, and it's huge and terrifying. This is straight up nightmare fuel, you guys. He's trying to piece together what the heck is going on with his father, and then it hits him. His dad was framed. He remembers his mother's warning to just hang in there a little longer, and now it all clicks. She knew the truth. It's like the fourth wall is shattering, and a notification pops up saying it's shaking violently. What is even happening? He confronts the woman in the white coat, demanding to know what truth she was trying to expose about his father. She doesn't hold back. She straight up accuses someone of killing his father, and the tension is insane. Our boy is reeling, trying to process everything, and honestly, this reveal is a total gut punch. Wait, it gets crazier. The woman's face is obscured, and she's practically radiating despair. The glitching intensifies, and the world around them is dissolving into lines and static. It's pure chaos. However, through the distortion, we see her desperate expression, and it's clear she's just as trapped as he is. She keeps replaying her memories, obsessing over what happened after she left. It's been hundreds, even thousands of times. She insists his father deserved to die, claiming it was self-defense, and shows him the gruesome scene. But she's spiraling, saying she's relived it so many times she can't even tell what's real anymore. Honestly, she admits she was glad her father died, calling him an abuser and gambling addict. Wow. She explains if he'd lived, their family would have been in even more danger, justifying her actions. He challenges her, asking why she's so upset if she truly believed it was the right thing to do. He reveals he's repeatedly asked her about this, trying to understand, but she's always shut him down. And then the bombshell questions appear on a document. Why didn't she run away with him? Another question hits even harder. Why did she leave him alone when he was so young? No way. She looks away, a subtle smirk playing on her lips, and we realize she's been hiding something huge. Straight up, he erased all the answers to her questions. He's been holding back big time. Suddenly, constellations are showering him with coins, 5,000 of them, because of his messed up upbringing. The woman, seemingly a representative of these constellations, is furious he's changing the original story, demanding to know why. She's convinced letting characters die as written would have made things easier, but he's adamant about altering the plot. He drops a truth bomb. Yook, that's our boy, can never reach the end of the scenarios in this third round. Constellations are losing it, frustrated with the censorship. This is getting wild. He walks toward a bright doorway, declaring the ending of this story is important to him. His hand reaches out and he claims this world protected him. It's a surprisingly tender moment. But it's a flashback. He says this world protected him while she was gone. Ouch. She clarifies things. Dokja, this isn't fiction anymore. The stakes are real and the story is changing. Okay, so things are intense. This dude straight up is telling everyone he's gonna end this quickly and they need to get ready. He's choosing bookmark number 5, Kichio's rod Graham, some kind of activation thing. It's all super mysterious. Immediately after that, the whole place goes crazy with swirling blue energy and a ton of people just appear. Everyone's scrambling, weapons are drawn, and it's a total free-for-all as they're dashing through the chaos. We see a massive group of armed people surrounding them, but our boy and his crew aren't backing down. Someone shouts about who these people even are, and honestly, it's a valid question considering the sheer number of them. A guy tries to explain it's a misunderstanding, begging them to stay, but everyone looks terrified and on edge. This woman is desperately trying to hold someone back, but they're clearly freaking out and about to run into danger. She's pleading with them to stay, but it feels like it's too late, and the situation is spiraling out of control. And honestly, this whole situation is a mess, and our boy is right in the middle of it. Okay, so a woman steps forward. It's the founder's mother. Everyone is shocked. No way. She's making a power move, showing off some serious authority and shutting everyone up. The founder's mother calmly tells them she won't take their lives if they don't fight back. Talk about a threat. Suddenly, electric energy starts crackling around her and the air just fills with power. This dude's face is contorting. He's clearly getting hit with something intense and it's not good. More energy blasts and his expression is just distorted, like he's in agonizing pain. The energy is surging and it looks like his mind is fracturing. Absolutely wild. She's unleashing a massive attack, and the founder's mother is straight up terrifying right now. Lightning arcs everywhere and it's chaos. Everyone's caught in the crossfire, but she's protected. The founder's mother is a powerhouse, and honestly, this is getting way too intense, bro. Okay, so the founder's mother just unleashed some ancient energy and it's sealing away our boy's power and rank. No way. Everyone is reeling from the blast, but it's clear this energy is specifically targeting him and the founder. The founder's mother explains this is a stigma from the Korean peninsula that steals power using stories. How messed up is that? She drops a bomb. The stigma's owner is one of the most exalted deities of Hanguk, a total legend. Get this, the deity is the star of the most famous story on this land, which is probably why this is happening. The founder's mother snaps her fingers, and some kind of dark energy starts swirling around her hand. She says she told him, didn't she? Straight up ominous, bro, and she's clearly known this would happen. Our boy is totally shocked. He didn't expect her to pull something like this, and honestly, who would? He's realizing this isn't just about power, it's about the stories themselves and the deity controlling them. But she's already planning her next move, and this whole situation is escalating way too fast, I swear. Okay, so the founder's mom is laying down the law. Someone can break them out of this cosmic dimension with their power. Suddenly, explosions rock the area and a bunch of people are yelling, trying to figure out what's happening. Total chaos. One of the people with them asks how they'll get out, but it's clear the founder's mom has a plan, even if it's risky. She claims she can get them out, but it's not a simple solution, and our boy is demanding to know how. The founder's mom explains they need someone with the power to break the cosmic dimension, and this dude is starting to sweat. But wait, the founder's mother is saying she knew this would happen, and that's seriously messed up, bro. And honestly, this whole situation is a trap, and our boy is walking right into it, thinking he's got a solution. The constellation demands 5 points from the sky disk, basically all of his remaining power, and our boy is not happy. He activates the disk and it's immediately clear something's wrong. Energy is surging and it's too much. Sparks fly and this dude gets blasted backward, straight into the founder's mom. This is getting messy. She's absorbing the energy and it's clearly hurting her, but she's holding on. What a tank. She yells about a probability storm as she's getting wrecked, and honestly, it sounds terrifying. She's getting absolutely obliterated and questions if this is even happening to a failed constellation. But then the system announces his rank and main skills are sealed. No way, he's completely powerless. He's falling, she's collapsing, and the whole area is exploding with chaotic energy. Total disaster. It's all static and chaos, but the founder's mom is still conscious, and she looks angry. And that's it, cliffhanger. Our boy is completely out of it, and the founder's mom is clearly in charge now. Okay, so the founder's mom is laying down the law to some shadowy figures. They're managing the story. She's ordering them to amp up the drama, intensify conflicts, and even put characters in danger. She's ruthless. She's got one rule: keep the villains villainous and the good guys good. No gray areas allowed. She specifically says not to frustrate the constellations and to intervene if they lose interest. Talk about pressure. These guys are seriously controlling everything, and honestly, it's a little creepy seeing them operate like this. They're all staring intensely like puppet masters, and it's clear our boy is just a pawn in their game right now. Okay, so this woman, she's got a serious soft spot for Dokja, and she's clearly stewing about something. She's hunting Dokja down, looking all sharp in a trench coat, but there's a gun pointed at him nearby. Things are tense. She keeps muttering Dokja's name like she's fixated, and honestly, it's kinda creepy, not gonna lie. Flashback time, apparently young Dokja was a tiny little guy, and someone else is remembering that. She's confronting someone, saying there was no reason to argue with Dokja, and demanding to know why they wrote that book. She insists Dokja isn't the little kid they used to know, but she's still holding onto that image, which is kinda sweet. She's saying he'll always be a kid to her, even if he's 30 or 40. That's a whole lot of love right there. She admits she tried to find the courage to tell him something, and it sounds like it's a big deal. She finally says she's going to tell him the truth, and the tension is building. Bro, you can feel it. Cut to Dokja looking super serious and focused. He's clearly bracing for something, and it's probably bad. So this woman, Dokja's mom, straight up sacrificed 3 SS-grade items in 20 years of her life to a constellation. She's kneeling, offering everything to this constellation, hoping to change things for her son. The constellation's condition: Dokja has to stay in this scenario, he can't move on to the next one. But it gets weirder. She believes this will make Dokja forget she was a terrible mother. She's telling the guy with the gun that Dokja will understand someday, and honestly, she seems so desperate. She asks if the troops are assembled, and yep, they've gathered a whole army around them. A flash of light erupts and a new main scenario appears: Dark Castle's final stage, SS difficulty. The conditions are insane. Choose 4 rankers, reach the 3rd floor, and you've got 30 days. Fail and it's death. 100,000 coins are the reward, but honestly, survival seems like the bigger prize right now. Dokja's mom reveals she needs 2 more rankers for this crazy scenario, and she's got her eyes on a couple of people. Someone's approaching through the grass, and she warns the others they're here. It's a bit ominous, honestly. We get a shot of the approaching team: Jae Lee, Jiliang Lee, and a few others, all looking determined. Dokja's mom keeps walking, completely ignoring the incoming group. She's focused on finding those last 2. She runs into someone from the past, MS-U, and is shocked to see she's still alive. What a reunion. MS-U is relieved to see her, but immediately asks where Dokja is, which is fair, given everything. Dokja's mom brushes off the question, saying they'll talk about him later. That feels super sus, right? She starts naming off the team members from left to right, like a roll call before a mission. She finishes the list, then says this situation feels more like her style, which is unsettling. But seriously, she's got this whole cold, calculating vibe going on, and it's kinda terrifying. Dokja asks why they were summoned here, and his mom straight up says it's about rounding up the 4 heavenly kings. She explains they need 4 rankers in the top 10 to move to the next scenario, and honestly, it's a relief Dokja already knew. Dokja's mom is doing this too, gathering the team, but MS-U is totally unimpressed with the whole situation. MS-U calls this whole thing corny, which fair, but someone else is calling Dokja's mom a bitter old hag. Rude. Dokja's mom doesn't even flinch at the insult, just gives a smug look, and we get a glimpse of the team behind her. She's gathering the Heavenly Kings, but our boy Dokja looks like he's about to cause some serious trouble. Dokja's got that "I know something you don't know" face, and it's kind of freaking everyone out. MS-U tries to ask about Dokja, but his mom deflects. Something's definitely up with her. She lays out the team roster and it's clear she's got a plan, a really calculated one, honestly. Dokja's mom says this whole situation suits her, and bro, that's a terrifying thing to admit. MSU is all like, if you want to clear the next scenario, you need a team of the strongest people, and honestly, she's not wrong. Dokja's got this knowing look and he asks about the rankers, like he already knows something's up. And then it hits us, Dokja's mom is actually the founder's mother, and Dokja's face is priceless. Suddenly, a gust of wind whips around and MSU looks seriously impressed by the power behind it. Dokja's mom is standing tall, surrounded by shadowy figures, and it's clear she's a force to be reckoned with. She's gathering the heavenly kings, and this whole thing is starting to feel like a power play, no way. Dokja's still giving off major "I know more than you" vibes, and it's honestly kinda annoying, but also intriguing. MSU attempts to bring up Dokja, but his mom totally shuts it down. She's hiding something, we know it. She lays out her plan, a team of the most powerful, and it's clear she's been plotting this for a while. Dokja's mom says this situation is perfect for her, and bro, that's a little scary if you ask me. MSU gets straight to the point. She shared Dokja's achievement with him and now she wants answers. Dokja's mom casually drops that she did it so he'd get stronger, and honestly, that's kinda ominous. She believes a stronger Dokja gives them a better shot at saving the world, but something feels off about her motives. Dokja's mom is laying it all out. She needs the strongest team and she's willing to manipulate things to get it. MSU presses her about why she shared the achievement, and this dude's mom just deflects. She's hiding something. Then she reveals she's been preparing for this, gathering the heavenly kings, and straight up, this is a power move. This mom is straight up laying down the law, saying she's stopping her son from hanging with the wrong crowd. She's super serious, telling whoever's talking to her that they can't see her son. It's intense. But wait, her son is already gearing up for a fight, sword drawn and ready to move out, it seems. He's charging forward, weapon ready, clearly about to confront whoever his mom is protecting him from. The mom is doing some kind of ritual, holding these glowing orbs and saying she sent her son back to reality. She's got a creepy smile and is messing with these weird, glowing stone things during the ritual. Some little creatures are murmuring and someone's declaring they're going to have to kill someone. No way. This dude is freaking out, realizing something he thought impossible is actually happening. His mom is dropping truth bombs, saying he's been warned about bringing up censored stuff. Classic. These creepy masked figures are talking about the 9th scenario ending, and someone needs to go. One of the masked figures is apologizing, but says they have to return to something. What's going on? But hold up, they're saying the person thereafter is just an incarnation and can't affect everything. We see the guy in the blue outfit getting beat up, and honestly, he kinda had it coming. The masked figures are determined, vowing that nothing like this will ever happen again. This dude is getting wrecked and it's all flashing on screens for everyone to see. Rough. He's clutching his chest, clearly in pain, but still trying to fight through it. They're declaring they won't let oddities like this happen again. Sounds like a threat, bro. This dude was insanely talented and straight up threatened the balance of these scenarios, causing major complaints. He jumps into an alternate dimension and somehow makes himself a constellation. What is even happening right now? Our boy is getting absolutely wrecked, sparks flying everywhere as he pleads for help. It's brutal. He's curled up begging for someone to help him, and those electrical sparks just keep coming. Rough situation. Suddenly, a massive blue figure appears, shouting the name Yongyeon Chiak, who is this mysterious swordsman. This swordsman is radiating power, a swirling vortex of blue energy surrounding him. It's an epic entrance. Two masked figures are arguing, saying they already took action, but things aren't adding up. They're questioning how it's fair to issue a fate before the 10th scenario even starts. It's a serious point. One of them accuses the other of defending this incarnation, but they deny it, saying it's about fairness. They insist they aren't defending him, they're just calling out how unfair the entire scenario is. Drama. The white-haired leader is laying down some serious truth. He's not here to blame anyone for this mess. But the others are demanding answers, asking why he's suddenly showing up now, and it's clear they're skeptical. He drops a bomb. Apparently they can use future sight to see what's coming, but something's off. He explains that no one in the star stream can see Dokja Kim's future, which is huge. No way. Everyone's realizing something has changed, and they're starting to connect the dots. It's a tense moment. They're recounting how it took 4 hours for Dokja Kim to complete the scenario, and honestly, that's insane. One of the masked figures is freaking out, staring at Dokja Kim with a red eye. Something's seriously wrong with him. He's starting to glow, energy swirling around his hands, and it's clear this isn't a good sign at all. This dude is clearly struggling, but he's trying to understand what's happening to him. It's intense. However, the glow intensifies, and it looks like Dokja Kim is changing. This is about to get wild. The constellations are straight up terrified of Dokja Kim now. Apparently, he's about to reach a level no one has seen. Someone asks how that's even possible, and it's a legit question because Dokja is breaking the system. The white-haired leader says many constellations fear Dokja, and he's trying to stabilize something. It's urgent. But the masked figure is losing it, babbling about a censored word and what he meant to say total meltdown. Everyone's watching screens showing Dokja's past, and it's all leading to one conclusion. This is the end. Horned figures are gathered, discussing how to deal with this, and the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. They ask if the stabilization is done, but the leader needs more time. This is seriously delicate work. Dokja Kim, through the screens, demands something from them. Our boy is still in control, even in this mess. He tells them if they get whatever it is right, something big will happen. The stakes are unbelievably high. And honestly, the way he's looking at them, you know he's not asking nicely. Okay, so things are intense. We're seeing the unveiling of the first sword, and it's looking legendary. And the power is straight up insane. A single slash cuts down 1,000 men, no way. It's breaking through the 100-day seal, a barrier meant to hold something back, and it's happening fast. The energy is exploding outward, reshaping the landscape, twisting reality itself. It's a total disaster zone. We get a glimpse of the carnage, everything's fractured and glowing, and honestly, it's a breathtaking sight. Our boy is swinging that sword like a madman, cutting through everything in his path, a whirlwind of golden light. He's facing off against some serious opposition, but it looks like they're barely a match for this blade. This dude is a whirlwind of fury, cutting through the enemy lines and leaving devastation in his wake. It's epic. Okay, the sword is ripping through everything, and it's causing a massive energy surge. The landscape is warping and cracking, and it's all focused on this one spot. It's wild. Boom, the sword connects with something huge, and the impact sends energy flying everywhere. We cut to our boy looking totally stressed, like he's realizing the gravity of what's happening. He's muttering about this skill being unbelievably rare, something found only once in a million years. Apparently, this sword technique was created by a legendary swordsman, and it's now affecting the characters within the novel. Suddenly, a new feature activates on his status screen. What's going on now? The system tells him his understanding of Goryeo's top swordsman has increased, but he's confused because it's never happened before. He checks his list of bookmarked characters, and Goryeo's top swordsman isn't even there. That's weird. He figures it's just a tiny increase in understanding, but he hopes it'll grow over time, which is smart. He used the first swing of the 3-swing style, but his arm is wrecked, seriously damaged. Someone asks what's happening, and honestly, everyone is confused by this sudden power surge. The enemy forces are getting absolutely demolished, flung around like ragdolls in a whirlwind. Sparks are flying everywhere as bodies hit the ground. It's a brutal scene, no way around it. The ground cracks and splits under the force of the attack, and a blinding light erupts. This dude is commanding everyone to kneel, and the energy around him is insane. It's overwhelming. The enemies are struggling, crying out in pain as they're forced to submit. It's rough. He's hearing the true voice of a constellation, and it's affecting everyone around him, apparently. Someone questions why they're hearing it, but it's clear this power is beyond anything they've seen. This whole situation is escalating fast, and our boy is clearly realizing the stakes are higher than ever. Okay, so this dude is just casually wrecking everyone, but he's asking if they want to die. So cold. Suddenly, a little demon named Spark warns Dokja to listen up and keep this a secret, seriously. Then this weird, glitchy hand reaches out. It's creepy, and Dokja looks totally freaked out. Spark tells him to join a group that can protect him, or else that sounds ominous, no way. A flash of light blinds everyone, and Dokja is completely shocked by whatever just happened. We get a quick shot of Dokja, and he's looking super intense. Something's definitely changed. Everyone is staring at Dokja on a screen and it's glitching like crazy. What is going on? Multiple screens flash with Dokja's face and the tension is building. It's insane. A message pops up saying many constellations are watching you. He's under serious observation. Now these shadowy figures are surrounding him and it looks like they're about to run. This is getting wild. Okay, so Dokja's facing down a bunch of armed guys, but he's got this massive blue figure behind him. It's intense. He straight up declares fate's hurdle is steep, then says he'll just break it. Talk about confidence. A screen flashes 100% and we see a flick sound effect, and Dokja chooses the fifth bookmark, Kyuji's Rod Grim. Blue figure explodes into action and Dokja's powering up, unleashing a ton of energy. Sparks fly everywhere as this blue energy surges, and it's clear he's about to do something huge. He's charging forward and the energy is ripping through the grass like a blue wave. Dokja's moving at insane speed, leaving a trail of blue energy in his wake. It's a blur. He's pushing through whatever barrier was there, and it's like the world is bending around him. The energy continues to surge, and it looks like he's completely overcome the hurdle. No joke. And just like that, he's through, leaving only glowing energy and a stunned silence behind. Dokja's powering up, channeling all that energy, and it looks like he's bracing for massive throw. No way. He's launching something, a sharp, glowing object, straight at the armored figure. It's a risky move. The object flies and the armored figure tries to block, but it's too fast. This is gonna hurt. Whoa, the impact is huge, sending debris flying everywhere, and the figure is definitely reeling. Dokja's completely drained, gulping down water, looking exhausted but determined. Our boy is pushing his limits. He throws another one, a second glowing object, and it's even faster than the first, double the trouble. The second object is on its way, tearing through the air, and honestly, that figure is in serious danger. Okay, so things are absolutely chaotic. A monster is rampaging and everyone's losing it, straight up. This dude in the white coat is going for the kill, wielding a sword with some serious energy crackling on it. He's aiming for the silver-haired guy who's already down, but honestly, this dude had it coming. No way, another monster bursts onto the scene, a massive, enraged creature, and it's targeting everyone. The silver-haired guy is getting absolutely wrecked, and it's brutal, but our boy in the white coat isn't stopping. He's launching forward, sword blazing, still trying to finish off the silver-haired guy amidst all the chaos. But wait, the monster is suddenly flying through the air, heading straight for our boy. This is bad. Everyone is tumbling, flying through the air. It's a total mess of limbs and panic screams. The monster's down, but the silver-haired guy, he's still moving, still a threat, no matter how broken. Our boy lands looking intense, ready to finish this, and honestly, he looks terrifying right now. Someone's got the third highest ranking story, and it's this dude named Davids, the king of the dead, apparently. Davids is ranked third in Dark Castle, and his story lets him use corpses in battle, super messed up. He's going for Dokja, but our boy is fighting back, a chaotic clash of swords and monster roars filling the air. Dokja yells at someone to run, and then tells another to hold the monsters back. He's really taking charge. The silver-haired dude, whoever he is unleashing some serious purple energy, crackling and sparking everywhere. He's grabbing Dokja, trying to pull him into whatever dark power he's wielding. It looks painful, straight up. Dokja is getting overwhelmed by the energy, his body glitching and distorting. This isn't good, not good at all. He's getting ripped apart, fragmented into multiple copies, while the silver-haired guy just keeps tightening his grip. Dokja is somehow breaking free, but the energy is still surging, and he's being pulled in multiple directions. But he manages to land a blow, a desperate attack, and the silver-haired dude is sent flying. Finally, a hit. Dokja is slicing through everything, dodging attacks, and straight up dismantling the silver-haired dude's power. It's insane. The silver-haired guy isn't going down easily. He's landing blows on someone else, and they're getting seriously hurt. No way, it's revealed that the woman controlling everything was behind this whole fight all along. Dokja's relentless though, and he's finally pushing back, managing to injure the woman. She's not expecting this. He's got the woman cornered, demanding she step aside, but honestly, she's not listening at all. She refuses to yield, and Dokja's forced to move in for a final strike. It looks brutal. The woman's down, but Dokja's exhausted, barely standing. It sure wasn't easy for our boy. Davids is watching everything totally unfazed, and he's got a smug look on his face. Ugh, this guy. However, Dokja isn't finished. He's turning towards Davids, ready for another showdown. Bring it on. Dokja's eyes are blazing with determination, and he's not backing down. This is going to be epic. This dude, Constellation, is straight up losing it, flustered by Dokja's power. It's kinda satisfying, not gonna lie. But wait, a shadowy figure emerges, radiating intense energy, and it's clear Dokja is the source. Whoa. Someone yells at Dokja to get lost, demanding to know what he's doing here, but Dokja doesn't even bother responding. They're accusing Dokja of not supporting Constellation, but he just stares them down. This is getting good. Dokja unleashes a massive roar, and the shadowy figure explodes outward, engulfing everyone in a wave of power. The shadowy figure slams into someone, sending them flying. Ugh, they look seriously hurt. Another figure tries to intervene, but is instantly knocked back by the force. This power is insane. A man is sent tumbling, groaning in pain, as the shadowy force continues its rampage. The man is staring, shocked, as the shadowy power continues to surge. He clearly didn't see this coming. Dokja stands firm, his eyes blazing, totally unfazed. Our boy is a beast. Dokja's moving like a blur, straight up dashing towards another enemy. No time for breaks. Someone yells at Dokja to stop, but he doesn't even flinch, just keeps charging forward. He swings his sword and it connects with a sickening thud. Ouch, that looked painful. Another enemy tries to block, but Dokja's too fast, slicing right through their defense. The shadowy power keeps surging, and people are getting tossed around like ragdolls. It's chaos. Dokja's face is a mask of concentration, but you can see the strain. This is taking a toll. He kicks something or someone with incredible force, sending debris flying everywhere. Dokja stands amidst the wreckage, sword in hand, surveying the scene. He looks unstoppable. Two figures stare at him, completely shocked by the sheer power he's unleashing. They're speechless. But wait, Dokja's expression changes to one of surprise. Something's caught his attention. Dokja's sword clashes with another enemy, sending sparks flying. The force of this impact is insane. He's locked in a brutal duel, trading blows with someone equally skilled. This is a fight of titans. But Dokja's not just fighting one enemy. Multiple opponents swarm him, launching attacks from all sides. Dokja spins, deflecting attacks with impossible speed. Our boy is a whirlwind of steel and fury. He slams into another foe, sending them flying backwards, and honestly, this dude had it coming. Another enemy tries to strike, but Dokja anticipates it, countering with a swift and decisive blow. However, this isn't just about skill. Dokja's eyes glow with power, a terrifying blue aura surrounding him. He's unleashing everything he has, a relentless assault that leaves his opponents reeling. No way they can withstand this. Okay, so things are intense. This dude is straight up gritting his teeth, clearly holding back something huge. He's willing to hear out this monstrous, shadowy beast. It's massive and crackling with energy. No way. The beast demands he be told everything, and our boy looks totally cornered, like he knows he's about to spill. But wait, there's a full-on attack happening. People are getting sliced up by some kind of energy blades. It's chaos. They've got him sitting in chairs like a super creepy interrogation setup and demand the whole story. He's laying down the law, telling them not to keep anything to themselves. He needs all the info. The beast is all like, why are you stopping me? It's a total power play, honestly. It's asking why everything happened the way it did, and it's seriously intimidating, even for our boy. Someone is pleading for anything, and the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. And now he's going off, demanding the full story, like he's finally had enough of the secrets. He's losing it, demanding to know why they won't just tell him anything. The pressure is building. Total chaos erupts as soldiers fall, and our boy is clearly reeling from the battle around him. This dude is clenched up, knuckles white, and demanding answers. He's not backing down, no way. He's laying down an ultimatum, tell him everything or face the consequences. It's a standoff. Beast is getting seriously annoyed, questioning why our boy is trying to control the situation. He pushes for the full story, but the beast seems to be hiding something massive. It's infuriating. Suddenly, a purple-haired woman appears and she looks absolutely furious. Oh, trouble's brewing. Her expression is terrifying and her mouth is twisted into a menacing grin. This is bad, really bad. A system message pops up. Nebula, Veda, and Papyrus are peering into his fate, and honestly, that's creepy. It's all coming together, but whatever's about to happen is clearly huge. Prepare for impact. He's hit with a system message and straight up, it's a power-up, but it feels wrong. Blue energy explodes around him and it's like his body is being reshaped. It's intense. A massive, shadowy figure rises behind him and it's clearly not friendly. This is a bad omen. He draws his sword, a brilliant white blade against the darkness, and prepares to fight. The beast lunges, a terrifying wave of dark energy rushing forward. It's a full-on assault. He swings his sword, unleashing a counterattack of pure light, and the clash is earth-shattering. The woman with purple hair is caught in the blast, looking absolutely wrecked, and honestly, this dude had it coming. He's desperate trying to shield her, but the beast's power is overwhelming. It's a desperate struggle. The shadowy figure continues to attack, and the woman is getting absolutely demolished. It's brutal. But just as she's about to go down, he throws himself in front of her, taking the hit. Our boy is a hero. He shields the purple-haired woman, but the shadowy beast doesn't hold back. It's a brutal attack. He's launched forward, crashing through everything, desperately trying to protect her from the blast. The impact is massive, creating a huge crater, and he's sent flying through the air. No way. She's barely holding on while the shadowy figure looms over them, radiating power. It's terrifying. He reaches for her, determined to pull her to safety, even as everything around them is falling apart. But the beast steps forward, its presence overwhelming. It's like it's mocking his efforts. He lands, bracing for another attack, but the shadowy figure just stands there, watching, creepy. The woman tries to speak, but she's clearly injured and exhausted. This is bad, really bad. He takes a step forward, defying the beast, and straight up, that's some serious courage. The shadowy figure responds with a chilling step of its own, and the ground trembles. We're in for a fight. The shadowy figure straight up tells him they can't pass. Talk about a roadblock. He grabs for the shadowy figure's hand, but it cracks like brutal stone. What is this thing? Snap, he crushes a piece of it, and blue energy explodes everywhere, but the figure barely flinches. The shadowy figure unleashes a blast, sending our boy flying backwards. It's a massive shockwave. More blasts follow, and the area around them is getting obliterated. This fight is escalating fast. He's slammed into the ground, but pushes himself up, determined to keep fighting, no giving up. He manages to stand, though he's clearly hurting, and stares down the shadowy figure. It's intense. The shadowy figure towers over him, and he realizes something. It's connected to the woman. He whispers that, and his face is full of shock. He's figured something out, but it's not good. You get a close-up of his terrified face. He understands what's happening, and it's a total nightmare. He's shouting, trying to warn everyone, but it's too late. A massive, glitching energy blast rips through them. A woman screams, "Close your eyes," but honestly, it feels like it's already too late for everyone there. Everyone is panicking, trying to brace for impact. It's total chaos, and this dude is clearly terrified. The priest steps forward, a creepy smile on his face, and it's unsettling, to say the least. He declares it's another world god, no way, and the energy blast intensifies, engulfing everything. The blast reveals a massive, shadowy figure looming over them, and it's straight up horrifying. But the priest isn't scared. He's grinning like he's been waiting for this, which is super sus. He says it's an otherworld god, and the whole scene is glitching out. This is getting seriously intense. Okay, so things are intense. This dude, he's facing off against some serious power, and he's straight up spitting in its face. He declares he won't accept the fate forced upon him, that he'll decide his own story. No way he's backing down. But this isn't just any enemy, it's a constellation, and it's not impressed with his defiance, not one bit. Our boy is getting wrecked physically and emotionally, but he's digging in his heels, refusing to yield. The constellation mocks him, saying he'll kill his own father and bring about his mother's end. Talk about a low blow. Everything is shattering around him, literally, as this entity lays out the horrific future it has planned. He's falling, clutching a sword, clearly injured, but still fighting against the inevitable. Honestly, the determination is wild. However, the constellation isn't done. It's reveling in the destruction and the pain it's inflicting on him. It's promising to watch everything he holds dear crumble, to witness the pieces of his life falling apart. In the final image, it's a terrifying transformation, like this dude is becoming something monstrous himself. He coughs, gasping for air, totally wrecked, but the constellation keeps laying down the pain. It's brutal. The constellation declares once that thing descends, the entire second floor of Dark Castle will be erased. No joke. Someone Yumyeon-chiak is clearly worried, yelling for him, but the constellation just mocks their weakness. This ancient being is furious, saying these people are pathetic, and honestly, they kinda are right now. The constellation towers over Yumyeon-chiak, an imposing figure, and this dude is freaking out. He accuses the constellation of not changing in hundreds of years and then drops a bomb. His mother is the founder. The constellation snaps, demanding to know why he made a deal with the otherworld gods. Talk about a tense moment. It's screaming about Hangik stooping so low, and the image is glitching like crazy. So much is happening. But the constellation's rage is building, and it's clear this whole thing is about to explode. It's intense. The scene's a total mess, pieces of the castle are flying everywhere, and it's a complete disaster, seriously. So the constellation reveals he didn't deal with the otherworld gods. It's something else entirely, no way. He claims he had to protect the Korean peninsula, but it involves holding this incarnation hostage here, apparently. The constellation straight up says this incarnation can never return to Korea, or the other nebula will descend. Wild. Yumyeon-chiak is losing it, demanding to know if he made a deal with that nebula, and honestly, good question. But the constellation accuses him of being obsessed with a small plot of land and betraying his descendants. Harsh. This dude is totally questioning why the gods of creation haven't shown up to help. Things are getting desperate. The constellation is losing control, glitching out, and Yumyeon-chiak is looking concerned, to say the least. He's staring into Yumyeon-chiak's eyes, and it's creepy, like he's seeing something. Could it be the founder? A new notification pops up. Some nebulas have declared anyone who helps Goryeo's top swordsman as their enemy. Oh snap. It's a full-blown standoff and our boy is ready to fight, but the constellation is clearly holding something back. The constellation declares that those at the top are feared by everyone, and Yumyeon-chiak is about to face that reality. Yumyeon-chiak, facing certain death, questions what good pride is when he's about to die. A legit question. But the constellation interrupts, saying he won't let Yumyeon-chiak die, and suddenly, golden energy erupts. Yumyeon-chiak plummets downwards, seemingly saved, but the constellation's power is seriously overwhelming. He lands amidst the swirling energy, looking totally shocked. What just happened? The constellation clarifies he didn't save him, he simply let him die, which is a super messed up distinction. Yumyeon-chiak stares up, completely bewildered, covered in sweat and barely holding it together. Close up on his eye, you can see golden energy reflecting in it, and he's clearly processing something huge. The energy intensifies, swirling around him, and it looks like the constellation is about to unleash a massive attack. Whoosh, the golden energy explodes outward. This is gonna be epic, I can feel it. Okay, so Yumyeon-chiak is absorbing this insane power. It's like a dragon's energy is flowing into him. Everyone's getting notifications now, revealing his legend. He's the guy who defeated 36 generals alone. Another notification drops. This dude is known as the Butcher of the Battlefield. Seriously intimidating. He's inheriting the blood of dragons and the energy is just exploding. It's a full-blown transformation. This is wild. The constellation is letting Yumyeon-chiak become something beyond human, something terrifying. He's absorbing all this power, becoming a legend right before our eyes, and the sheer scale is unreal. And just when you think it's over, another notification. The story is changing, and he's becoming something more. Straight up, this is insane. Yumyeon-chiak is leveling up into a monster, and everyone is witnessing it. No way, a mysterious voice declares they're going to ship this dude to another world. It's a total exile. Ding, a system message pops up confirming it. Yumyeon-chiak is exiled from the scenario, straight up banished. He's floating in the darkness, bathed in eerie blue light. It's like he's being disassembled or something. Another character, a younger guy, is losing it. He can't believe what's happening to Yumyeon-chiak. Ding, another notification reveals this dude is the one who fights against fate. Talk about a twist. He confesses he always knew Yumyeon-chiak was unfairly treated, but he didn't realize it was fate doing the dirty work. The silver-haired woman stares intensely, her expression unreadable, and honestly, she's kinda creepy. But wait, she's not just standing there, she's actively manipulating fate itself, and this dude is caught in the middle. Okay, so things are intense. Our boy Dokja is facing off against this monstrous, multi-headed beast, and it's all lightning and chaos. He's shouting out the name of the monster Omniscient reader, which is just meta, like seriously meta. The monster is huge, all teeth and claws, and it's launching attacks left and right, but Dokja is dodging like a pro. We get a glimpse of the battlefield and it's completely wrecked with jagged rocks and a stormy sky, super dramatic. Dokja is fighting through the storm, clearly injured, but he's pushing forward, determined to take this thing down. Suddenly, we cut to a title card, episode 203, Thud, ominous, right? It feels like something big is about to happen. Now we're at chapter 33, reading again, and the monster is towering over everything, casting a massive shadow. Dokja is down, struggling to get up, barely able to breathe, but he's still trying to fight, no way he's giving up. He manages to get to his feet, drawing his sword, and declares he's entering the probability storm, whatever that is. And just as he takes a step forward, it cuts to part 10. This dude is straight up walking into danger. It's wild. A notification pops up. Goryeo's top swordsman is watching Dokja. Talk about pressure. Someone is warning Dokja about the power of Union Chiak, but our boy is already pushing himself too hard. Dokja's hand is glowing, cracking even, and he's wondering how much longer he can even hold his sword. Ugh, this dude is hurting. He's coughing up blood and struggling to stay conscious. Lightning arcs around him as he gasps for air, and it's straight up terrifying. The swordsman shouts that Union Chiak is too powerful, but Dokja insists his body can handle it. Dokja's getting slammed with attacks, and there are people falling all around him. It's a massacre. He asks if there's even more coming, and honestly, he's already been through so much. Someone points out Dokja won't last through a third swing, and he's huffing, barely holding on. But he's still standing, determined to fight. This dude is a legend. No way he's backing down now. Someone suggests maybe they can still save Dokja's mom, but the voice inside his head is ruthless. Forget about it. Straight up, this voice says her soul is already gone, shattered into pieces. Brutal. We get a terrifying close-up of the thing they're fighting. It's all teeth and claws and glitching energy. The voice explains otherworld gods don't feed like they do. It's implying this is way worse than Dokja thought. Dokja is pushing himself, gasping for air, but the blue swordsman is still demanding answers. Dokja's barely conscious, blood dripping, but he claims he knows this god very well. That's a bold statement. The voice drops a bombshell. This isn't just a god, it's the one Union fought 136 rounds ago. And just like that, Dokja attacks, sword flashing with insane speed. Slash echoes across the screen. He's moving so fast, leaving trails of light, dodging and weaving through the monster's attacks. Wish and swish, the sounds of his blade cutting through the air are intense, but will it be enough? Dokja's still fighting, sparks flying from his sword, but the monster is relentlessly pushing back. It's brutal. He unleashes another insane attack, a massive slash of energy. Slash rips through the air, aimed right for the monster. The monster's form distorts, becoming even more chaotic and terrifying as the attack lands, but it barely flinches. Suddenly, a blue figure steps forward, impressed by Dokja's skill. He says Dokja reminds him of his younger self. This blue dude thinks Dokja has the potential to surpass him, which is high praise, but Dokja is focused on surviving. Dokja reveals he's faced this god before in one of his past lives. Talk about a veteran. He warns them if this thing swallows anyone, they'll be trapped in its dimension, forced to relive their stories forever. Dokja yells they absolutely cannot let that thing get near its mouth. Good advice, honestly. The monster attacks again and everything goes crazy, a mess of flashing lights and chaotic energy. It's overwhelming. But Dokja's still swinging, determined to fight. Our boy is a total beast, even when things look hopeless. Dokja and the blue-haired dude are coordinating an attack, both ready to strike this massive monster down. The monster's mouth opens, revealing a terrifying, tooth-filled void. It's straight up horrifying, no cap. This thing is huge, a swirling vortex of darkness and teeth, and it's descending right toward them. Dokja shouts if it completes its descent, even he won't be able to do anything. Talk about pressure. They launch their attack, blue energy and sword slashes colliding with the monstrous form, but it's barely slowing it down. The blue-haired dude gets blasted back, injured, but Dokja is still standing, trying to hold it off. Dokja gets hit, coughing up blood, but he's absolutely determined. This dude won't go down easy. He's realizing all this probability he was granted is getting in his way, a wild twist. Dokja says seeing how much probability he was given, it's almost like fate is pushing him toward this. But he's refusing to let fate dictate things, straight up defying destiny. Our boy is a rebel. They've got no other choice. The blue-haired dude tells Dokja to use his three-swing style. It's a last resort. But it's a dangerous move, potentially annihilating Dokja himself. Talk about high stakes. Dokja acknowledges the risk, but says it's the only chance they've got. Our boy doesn't back down. The other guy grabs a purple potion, deciding to cooperate for once. Finally, a team player. He chugs the whole thing down in 2 gulps and straight up starts cracking. This is gonna be messy. The monster lunges, but the dude throws himself forward, intercepting the attack with his body. Dokja swings, unleashing his three-swing style, and it connects, but it's barely making a dent. This dude is taking a beating, coughing up blood, but he's still fighting. He's a tank, seriously. Suddenly, a massive flash of light erupts, blinding everything. No way, what just happened? We get a message saying the constellation, god of naval warfare, is watching Dokja. Uh-oh, that's ominous. Dokja's body is glowing with insane energy, but he's clearly struggling. It's like the power is tearing him apart. He's pushing through the pain, channeling everything into one final swing, but it's a desperate gamble. However, the monster suddenly starts evolving. Its body reshapes, growing even bigger and more monstrous. No way. It's adapting to Dokja's attacks, and honestly, this is terrifying. But wait, the blue-haired dude is somehow still conscious. Yelling at Dokja to focus, he's a real MVP. This dude is bracing for impact, knowing this final swing is everything. It's all or nothing. Okay, so things are intense. Kim Dokja is desperately trying to escape the monster, dodging its attacks like a pro. He's scrambling, sliding across the floor, and straight up stomps on some kind of weird, fleshy growth. Gross. But the real threat is the monster, which is this massive, shadowy beast, and it's getting closer fast. Dokja's activating his constellation powers, glowing blue and leaping into the air with a sword charged with energy. He's aiming for the monster's head, a full-on attack, but the creature is huge and barely flinches. The monster retaliates with a swipe, and honestly, it looks like Dokja is barely dodging. This is not good. Dokja's jumping again, trying to get some distance, but the monster is relentless, closing in for another attack. The monster roars and Dokja yells, "Damn it," realizing just how powerful this thing really is. The monster's about to land a devastating blow, and Dokja looks seriously outmatched. No way this is going to be easy. Our boy is still flying, attempting to avoid the monster's attack, but the beast is right on his tail. Dokja's asking Lee Jihai if she has a plan, and she responds with three-swing style. Basically, they're hoping to tire the monster out. But the monster is seriously messed up, like a glitching nightmare, and Lee Jihai's worried Dokja's plan is a long shot. She reminds him of his promise to protect her, and Dokja is all in, swearing on his name he'll keep her safe. We get a close-up of the monster's face. It's terrifying, and Dokja realizes Yumyok Chiok knows this thing. Dokja launches forward, swinging his sword, trying to hit the monster, but it's a massive beast and barely reacts. He swings again and again, a flurry of attacks, and the monster retaliates with a huge slash. It's a brutal clash. Dokja's going all out, blade flashing, but the monster's power is overwhelming, and it's pushing him back. He yells slash, unleashing a massive energy attack, hoping to finally do some damage. Dokja's declaring he'll ask someone to send the monster to another world straight up. He's determined to win. Our boy is putting everything on the line, even if it means risking a lot to get this monster banished. Dokja's saying if they escape to a different location, they might survive. It's a desperate gamble. Lee Jihai asks what kind of demon this thing is, and the mysterious figure just drops a bomb. It's more god than demon. He warns Jihai she's better off avoiding this monster altogether. It's seriously terrifying, and he's not kidding. The monster attacks and the figure is blasted back. It's a brutal hit, and he's bleeding. This dude reveals he's the one who sent Yuseon of the 41st round to this world. Major info drop. Dokja's clearly injured, but he's still focused, glaring at the monster with pure determination. He's thinking if he can send the others away like Yuseon, but Jihai tells him to focus on surviving now. Jihai says she has an idea, and honestly, we need one because things are looking grim. Dokja jumps forward, launching an attack, and it looks like a desperate attempt to create an opening. He's hoping to banish the monster, and it's a risky move, but our boy is all in. Okay, so Dokja's proposing they try to kill this god with the three-swing style, but Jihai is straight up shocked. He quickly clarifies he's just being realistic and doesn't mean to offend anyone, but seriously, it's a long shot. Jihai's thinking out loud and Dokja jumps in. If they work together, they might be able to take down this otherworld god. Dokja's face is intense. He's saying it. They can actually do this, but the monster isn't waiting around. The monster unleashes a massive attack and everything goes white. It's a total explosion of power. Everything's shattered, the ground is broken. It's a wasteland and the monster is still standing strong. The monster's unleashing a huge blast of energy, and honestly, it looks like the world is ending. A beam of light cuts through the chaos and it's a direct hit. This attack is massive. The monster is glowing, then gets hit again and the whole area is destroyed. No way this is survivable. But the monster isn't down yet. It's still standing and ready to fight. This is gonna be a long battle. Okay, so Jihai is straight up asking Dokja to throw her into the monster. It's a wild request. Dokja's shocked, but Jihai explains she'll use her abilities inside to weaken it. It's a risky plan. He's hesitant, but Jihai insists. She's serious about taking this thing down, no matter the cost. Dokja gives the signal and Jihai launches forward, a blue streak of energy heading straight for the monster. She's flying into the monster's mouth, and honestly, it's terrifying, but she's determined. Inside, Jihai's unleashing a massive amount of power, her eyes glowing. She's going all out. The monster is reeling, writhing in pain, and the whole area is shaking. This is actually working. But the monster isn't going down easily. It's trying to crush Jihai. It's a brutal fight inside. A blinding light erupts and a massive energy wave explodes outwards. It's like a second sun. The landscape is completely obliterated. Everything is white, and we're left wondering if anyone survived. Dokja's launching a massive beam of energy straight into the monster's core. It's intense. He's pushing all his power into this attack, veins bulging and everything. Our boy is going all out. But the monster retaliates, unleashing a wave of dark energy. It's a clash of titans. Jihai's still inside, fighting like crazy, but the monster's power is overwhelming. She's getting crushed. Dokja sees Jihai struggling and focuses everything into the beam, ignoring his own limits. He won't let her fall. The monster finally explodes and Dokja catches Jihai before she hits the ground. A heroic save, honestly. Okay, so things are intense. This massive, toothy monster is lunging at our boy, claws extended and everything. The monster is all teeth and green energy, and it's getting closer, like really close to chomping down. He's desperately trying to block with his arms, but honestly, this creature is way out of his league. Suddenly, a burst of light and energy erupts, almost like a shield, trying to push the monster back. A huge 7 appears, glowing bright green. It's some kind of power-up or attack for sure. The word 4 flashes across the screen, and you can just feel the raw power behind it. The monster's mouth is huge, filled with rows of razor-sharp teeth, and it's still coming for him. More energy blasts, more claws, and it's a total chaotic mess. This fight is escalating fast. Now Thwack is flying across the screen as some kind of blade slashes through the air. It looks like a desperate counterattack, but will it even make a dent in this monster? No way to know yet. He slices through 7 of the monster's tentacles, but it's like barely scratching it. This thing is huge. Crash, everything goes white as the monster retaliates and our boy is sent flying. Someone is yelling at him, calling him a stupid constellation, but honestly, it's a little harsh. He hits the ground hard, coughing up blood. This dude is straight up getting wrecked. The monster's still coming, and it looks like it's about to finish him off for good. But wait, another figure jumps in. It's someone else trying to help, but they're clearly struggling. He admits he didn't manage to deliver a serious blow, but it was enough to buy some time. Our boy, battered and bruised, forces a smile. He thinks it was a success, which is optimistic. He's realizing the power of a historical constellation, and it's kinda terrifying. The final shot shows exactly what he cut through, 7 tentacles, and it's still a massive mess. Okay, so our boy has a plan. He needs to get inside the monster's wound like now. He's charging forward with his sword, but the monster's healing super fast, so it's a race against time. Darn it, he's realizing this isn't going to be easy. The monster's wound is closing up already. He's dodging debris and leaping through the air, trying to get close enough to strike again. Seriously, the scale of this battle is insane. Rocks are flying everywhere, and he's a tiny speck. He finally gets in range, plunging his sword towards the monster's open wound. It's so intense. But a constellation is taking pity on him. What does that even mean? He's going in sword first and it looks painful. He's gritting his teeth and screaming. He's clearly suffering, but he's gotta push through. This is his only chance. This dude is absolutely determined, even with blood running down his face. No way he's giving up. He shouts he's almost there and they've managed to wound the otherworld god. It's a tiny cut, but progress. But the wound is already healing and our boy is freaking out, realizing how fast this thing regenerates. A green chunk of energy bursts from the monster's wound, and it's super unsettling, honestly. No, the wound is healing faster than ever, and he's losing ground. This is bad, really bad. The monster shifts and a massive foot comes crashing down, straight toward our boy. He's dodging for his life, rolling away just in time to avoid getting squashed flat. The monster's leg cracks and splinters under the force, but it doesn't even seem to bother it. He's up, sword raised, but the monster is already looming over him. It's a total power imbalance. The monster wobbles, seemingly off balance, but it's a trick. It's regaining its footing fast. And just like that, the monster's foot comes down again. This dude is in serious trouble, no cap. The monster grabs his comrade, lifting him up like a rag doll. This is a straight-up hostage situation. Our boy is using his friend as leverage, bracing his feet against the monster's leg, but it's crumbling. He leaps, trying to get a clear shot at the monster, but it's barely a scratch. This thing is armored. However, the monster flings his friend away, and our boy goes flying with him. Double trouble. They're both plummeting towards the ground, and the monster's blade is right behind them. No time to react. He's trying to protect his friend, twisting to shield him, but the blade is closing in fast. But suddenly, a shimmering shield appears, deflecting the attack. Where did that come from? The shield takes a hit, cracking under the force, and honestly, it looks like it's barely holding on. Our boy lands hard, boots sinking into the wet ground, and sparks are flying everywhere. He's back on his feet, sword ready, but the monster is already descending. This fight isn't over yet. He's breathing heavy, clearly exhausted, and straight up asks if his friend can even do this. His friend is all like, "Don't tell me," and our boy is losing it. He's about to chuck him at the monster. He huffs and puffs and then just launches his friend, no hesitation. What a move. His friend is flying through the air, and the monster is looking confused. It didn't see that coming. But the monster recovers fast, swinging its blade. It's gonna slice right through them both. He yells that he'll be fine because he'll just come back alive, but his friend doesn't buy it. His friend is like, "That's not what I meant," and honestly mood. He's worried sick. The monster smirks and it's a genuinely creepy sight. This thing enjoys the chaos. Everything goes black for a sec, and then we see them both reaching for each other. It's intense. He asks if his friend remembers, and bro, that's a cliffhanger if I've ever seen one. His friend suddenly blurts out a question, the second scenario, like he remembers something huge. He grabs his friend's arm, trying to pull him back, but it's like he's fighting against a current. They're both getting pulled toward a glowing blue distortion, and honestly, it looks super dangerous. Suddenly, doom flashes across the screen, and you just know something bad is about to go down. He's standing in this insane space filled with floating symbols and code. It's the stories he read, all swirling around him. Then it hits him, all the things that have happened in the novel, the tragedies, the sacrifices. He's seen it all. He realizes this place isn't just about the stories, it is the stories. Everything that's been devoured is here. And honestly, the scale of it is insane. Giant figures and swirling narratives are all around him. It's overwhelming. Dokja's figuring out that the power he has, knowing the story, isn't just helpful, it's the key to everything. He understands now that all of this, the world, the chaos, is connected to the stories he's read, and it's all his fault. Dokja's reeling, realizing the founder's mother's story is somehow tied to all of this. It's his fault. He shouts about a foolish history that's gone on too long, demanding they defend the land from constellations. No way. This dude wonders where all the gods of creation have gone, then immediately misses H. Schwanen. Talk about a mood swing. Dokja explains the otherworld gods are rooted in the outer universe, and half of the Eater of Dreams is currently connected to Dark Castle. But the inside of the Eater of Dreams is directly linked to that outer universe. It's a whole other level of messed up. Now that he's inside the Eater's stomach, Dokja declares there's no escape, and a chaotic spark erupts around him. We're getting visuals of pure energy, glitching and swirling. Honestly, it looks like a broken video game. Dokja smells an interesting story, and the energy starts to coalesce into these wild, spiraling shapes. The energy is forming these crazy patterns, getting brighter and more intense. It's straight up overwhelming. And finally, the swirling energy settles, revealing something. Dokja is ready to face whatever comes next. This dude's getting interrogated by something, and it's intense. The voice wants to know who he is. He's asking if Dokja's under some kind of protection, but our boy's realizing this isn't just a fight. The energy is building, twisting around Dokja, and honestly it looks like a glitch in reality. Dokja suddenly thinks the Eater of Dreams tried to invade his mind, but the fourth wall blocked it. Wait, what? He can feel the Eater's intentions. It just wants to consume everything, which is not great. Dokja declares the Eater of Dreams wants to consume him, and it's a bold statement considering where he is. The story is revealing itself. It's all connected to Dokja and his role as the soul reader. Dokja understands now, the Eater isn't just a monster, it's a consequence of the story itself. Dokja demands they protect the land, and he's straight up challenging the Eater. This is getting epic. Dokja asks the entity if it devoured Sejong Lee, begging for her return. It's a desperate plea. But the entity drops a bomb. Sejong Lee wasn't in a story, which is seriously messed up. The entity offers a trade. It'll return Sejong if Dokja gives it a new story, a wild proposition. Dokja asks what kind of story it wants, and the entity starts unleashing this insane green energy. This little constellation is asking for a deal, and honestly, Dokja looks skeptical as heck. The entity confirms it wants a deal, but then it throws out this weird metaphor about bears and fish, saying humans don't make deals with insects, straight up declaring Dokja unworthy, rude. The entity unleashes more energy, and its face is starting to become visible. It's unsettling. It delivers the final blow. Dokja isn't worthy of making a deal, and it's a total shutdown. No way, the entity is basically telling Dokja he's insignificant, and it's a brutal rejection. Dokja lays down the law. He's not an insect, and the entity isn't a bear. It's a total power move. He explains bears just devour fish. They don't bother making it palatable. It's a savage analogy. Dokja declares that if you force a story, it gets ruined, and honestly, he's spitting truth. He reveals he already read the entity's story, and it's a shocking confession that throws everything off. Dokja smirks, then gulps down a piece of the entity's power. Wait, what is happening? He claims if the entity crushes him and takes his story, the ending will be damaged, and it's a bold claim. Dokja taunts the entity, saying it'll never know how good devouring him would have tasted. This dude is fearless. The entity is furious, and its energy is going wild, glitching out like a broken video game. It's a chaotic mess of light, and Dokja is standing right in the middle of it all. But the energy seems to be absorbing into Dokja. No way, this is getting seriously intense. Dokja's laying down the terms, keep the promise, and he'll give the entity everything it wants. The entity's power is swirling around Dokja, these huge green tendrils wrapping around him, but it's like getting absorbed. Whoosh, the energy intensifies, spinning faster and faster around our body, a total vortex of power. The entity manifests as this massive, glowing bear, and it's straight up terrifying. It asks if this is what Dokja wants, and honestly, the tension is killing me. More swirling energy whoosh, and Dokja's just standing there, taking it all in like it's nothing. The entity reveals it's been saving Dokja for a taste, because he smells delicious compared to others. Creepy, but okay. It admits it wants to devour Dokja, and the confession is so cold, but Dokja is not even flinching. The entity says it found Dokja's story interesting, but that's a backhanded compliment if I've ever heard one. Dokja's all, oh yeah, it's been a long time coming. This dude is playing a dangerous game. Dokja straight up asks if humans get upset when an insect mocks them. The audacity, it's a total power move. He's calling this entity a lower level god and saying their conversation is over, but this dude is playing with fire. Dokja's declaring the conversation over, but the entity is clearly not done, and it's about to get real. Okay, so the demon god gives Kim Dokja permission to just eat the story's power. Like seriously, unlimited power. But there's a catch, of course. This dude's gotta consume everything or something terrible happens. Dokja starts inhaling the story's energy, and its intense cracks are appearing everywhere. It's wild. He's absolutely devouring the power, mouth wide open, and the energy is flowing into him at an insane rate. This is getting intense. The story's structure is breaking down as Dokja consumes it, a total omniscient reset. The power surges and honestly it looks like it's overloading him, but he's pushing through it. We see a burst of energy and then nothing. It's like the world is holding its breath. A single word echoes, omniscient reader. No way, what does this all mean? The demon god wants Dokja to keep going, to consume all the story's power. No stopping now. Dokja's body is cracking under the strain, but he keeps biting down, absorbing more and more energy. He tastes something and it's good. This dude is literally savoring the essence of the story. It's wild. But something's changing. The world around them is glitching, like reality itself is breaking apart. Thousands of pages filled with text materialize, a literal library of the novel surrounding them. It's a total information overload and the fourth wall is reacting. Guys, it's actually breaking. A message flashes, the fourth wall is responding to the vibrations, like the story knows it's being devoured. The energy explodes outward and the pages are sent flying. It's a chaotic mess of narrative data. We get a cryptic phrase about mountains covered with water and a sea drying up. What does it mean? The power continues to surge, and honestly this whole thing is about to rewrite reality itself. Dokja's taking a beating, straight up overwhelmed by the power, but he pushes through, determined to absorb it all. He's reeling and suddenly remembers Young-hyuk, another player who was eaten by this same thing on round 136. But Young-hyuk didn't die, he somehow survived. What? This is getting seriously weird. Dokja grits his teeth and shouts at whatever's attacking him, just what are you supposed to be? He declares he'll let the Eater of Dreams consume him if it wants, a bold move, honestly. The entity seems confused, it asks what is this, and the whole scene is bathed in eerie light. Dokja is struggling, but it's like he's forcing the story to change, to rewrite its own rules. He's saying Young-hyuk said the same thing before being consumed. This is a loop, bro, a repeating pattern. However, it looks like Dokja's actually succeeding in breaking the cycle. The energy is responding to his will. This entity, the Eater of Dreams, starts laying it all out. It's experienced this 136 times over. It claims Dokja will feel all the loneliness, sadness, anger, and hatred it has endured, but someone interrupts. Someone yells, wait, hold on. It's Young-hyuk seemingly fighting back from inside the Eater. Dokja's body starts glowing, energy crackling around him, and he shouts if this thing thinks it can keep eating him. Whoosh, a massive wave of power erupts and Dokja's taking the full force of it, but he's resisting. The Eater tells him to feel free to help yourself, straight up inviting Dokja to consume it back. Cracks start appearing on the glowing form and the power's building. It's like something's about to break. Boom, a massive explosion of energy, and the Eater's form is shattering. No way. The energy is wriggling and twisting, and the Eater reveals it's been born in space, existing for 18,000 years. But after all that time, it just realized something. This whole situation is wild, honestly. Dokja's reeling, but he's spitting out some serious truth. He knows there are stories within stories, layers to this whole mess. He's clearly hurting, tears streaming down his face, but he's bracing himself. This is getting intense. The Eater of Dreams drops a bombshell. There's something you can never eat in this world, and Dokja's about to find out what it is. The place is exploding with blue energy and ancient script. It's like the very fabric of reality is unraveling around them. Another explosion, even bigger this time, and Dokja's getting tossed around like a rag doll. It's chaotic, honestly. But hold up, the Eater says everything unfolded exactly as it did in TWSA, the original novel, a pre-written destiny. Dokja's trying to push through, looking determined, and you can see the strain on his face. This dude is fighting for his life. The Eater is done and Dokja is just left standing there, covered in energy. It's a total power move. The Eater is gone and Dokja's left to pick up the pieces, but something tells me this isn't over yet. Dokja is reliving the same third round over and over, but it's not a reset, it's a loop, and it hurts. He's stuck repeating round 36, then 47, then 69, and it just keeps escalating. The numbers are climbing faster and faster. This dude is experiencing centuries of suffering, jumping from round 141 to 143, and it's absolutely brutal. He hits round 148 and the pressure is crushing him. It's like his soul is being torn apart. Dokja screams a raw, desperate sound, and the world around him seems to fracture with his pain. But wait, the Eater isn't gone. It's reforming, absorbing the energy from these endless loops, becoming even stronger. Our boy is shattered, his armor cracking, but he's still fighting, still pushing against this impossible cycle. He's trying to break free to rewrite the story, but the Eater is anticipating every move. It's a chess match with his life. The Eater claims Dokja wanted this, that he craved the pain of reliving the same life. Talk about a mind game. However, Dokja refuses to accept it. He's gonna change the ending, even if it destroys him in the process. Someone, a human, is screaming at the Eater, calling it a tentacled freak, and honestly, fair enough. But the Eater just absorbs the human's pain, growing stronger with every ounce of suffering. No way. Okay, so things are insane right now. Someone's unleashing these crazy energy blades, and it's a total mess. Our boy Dokja is straight up dodging, trying to protect the woman, Regina, who's currently out cold. Dokja's assessing the situation, looking seriously concerned about Regina's condition, but he's focused. The long-haired dude is just watching. Seriously, what is his deal? He seems totally unbothered. Both Dokja and the mysterious guy are floating now, blades still flying, and it's a chaotic aerial battle. Dokja's cradling Regina, relieved she's still breathing, but it's a tense moment. She's barely holding on. He's desperately trying to wake her up, shaking her gently, needing her to snap out of it now. More energy blades are whipping around, but Dokja is completely focused on Regina, protection mode activated. Dokja suddenly realizes this whole area should be destroyed, according to the novel. What is going on? He remembers reading about the outer universe being destroyed, and it hits him. Something is seriously wrong with this timeline. No way the fourth wall is looking at Dokja. It's like the story itself is aware of them. Dokja and Regina are floating in this weird, grid-like space, and the fourth wall is shaking its head. What does that even mean? Dokja wonders if this is it, if the story is rejecting their presence, but the wall seems hesitant. The fourth wall straight up admits it's still hungry, and Dokja realizes this isn't a rejection, it's an absorption. The space around them starts cracking, like the wall is consuming everything, and it's terrifyingly beautiful. Sparks fly as the structure begins to fall apart. It's a total breakdown of reality, bro. Everything is white, blindingly bright, and Dokja's desperately holding onto Regina as the world collapses. Dokja's clinging to Regina and she's barely conscious. This is so stressful. Is she gonna make it? Fourth wall is completely shattering, and it feels like everything is being reset or something. Whoa, it's like the entire universe is unraveling, and Dokja and Regina are right in the middle of it. Dokja's trying to grab Regina, but the fourth wall is actively consuming her. It's terrifying. He yells for them to hold on, but the energy is just pulling Regina away, straight up dissolving her. Dokja manages to grab her hand just before she's fully absorbed. It's a desperate reach. He's floating now, pulling Regina with him, while the wall continues to splinter and break apart. Dokja screams at the wall, "You can't eat her," and honestly, good for him standing up to a cosmic entity. They're being sucked into the core of the breaking fourth wall, surrounded by blinding light and energy. Dokja's struggling, but he's holding on tight, determined to save Regina, no matter what. The wall's eating sound effects are chilling. Nom, nom, it's like a cosmic predator. Dokja's losing control, but he's still fighting, desperately trying to shield Regina from the energy. He shouts a curse, but it's clear he's going to do anything to save her. This dude is a machine. The fourth wall is just smirking now, like it's enjoying this whole chaotic mess. It's looking at someone and then smacks its lips. No way, this wall is straight up flirty. Everything starts swirling around this mysterious figure, papers flying everywhere. It's intense. A guy with wild green hair appears, looking absolutely horrified. Something's seriously wrong with him. He demands to know where the wall sends everything it consumes, and honestly, that's a great question. This old man steps forward, revealing the wall also devoured the theater dungeon and Nirvana the reincarnator. But it doesn't stop there, it even ate the Dream Eater, just gone. That's messed up. A massive, shadowy beast starts forming, glowing with green energy, and it's huge. The beast roars ban, and a shockwave blasts outwards, shaking everything to its core. Dokja's reaching out, trying to stop it, but this power is on another level. It's a desperate fight. Dokja is losing it, screaming at the wall to spit Regina out. He's absolutely feral right now. He's practically vibrating with rage, demanding the wall release her immediately, and the energy is insane. Suddenly, a memory hits Dokja. He remembers naming the child, a moment from the novel's past. But it's not just any memory, it's about a disagreement over a name, a tiny detail that feels huge. Dokja realizes this difference, this small conflict, might be where their paths truly diverged. A flashback shows them side by side, her looking away and him shadowed. It's a really somber scene. He's connecting the dots, understanding how even the smallest choices can change everything, and it's heavy. Dokja finally understands it wasn't just about a name, it was about their fundamental views, and it's devastating. And now he's left with this realization, a cold weight settling in as he grapples with their fractured past. Dokja's clutching the bottle and knife, but he's totally blindsided by a laugh. It's chilling, man. He's knocked to the ground, and honestly, this dude had it coming. He was too distracted. The attacker's looming over him, holding the bottle like it's a weapon, and demanding Dokja not look down on him. Dokja's scrambling back, desperately trying to figure out who this is. It's a total mystery. But wait, a flashback hits. It's Johan, the guy who is supposed to be on Dokja's side, straight up betraying him. Johan's gonna shatter the bottle, and Dokja knows exactly what's coming. The novel warned him, but can he stop it? No way. Johan's slashing at him with the broken glass, and Dokja's bracing for impact. This is intense. Sejong's desperately pleading with Dokja to forgive him, seriously trying to de-escalate things. She tells him to think about Johan, insisting this outburst is just a phase, but Dokja isn't buying it at all. We see the scene, a man is down, a woman and child are huddled together, and it's a total bloodbath. This is clearly the moment he's talking about. He's digging through files, and it's revealed he told his child something, a lie apparently, about what happened that night. Wait, he realizes he was the one who killed the man. No way, he's having a full-on breakdown, questioning everything. This dude is reeling, completely shocked by the truth, like the pieces are finally clicking into place after all this time. He's desperately trying to understand, reaching out as if to grasp the reality of what he's just discovered. It's a total mess. And then a bombshell. He admits he actually knew all along. Seriously, what is going on with this guy? He confesses he often imagined things differently, but it was all just a pathetic excuse to avoid the truth. He's realizing there could have been a better way, a different outcome, but he chose something else. It's heartbreaking. Our boy is spiraling, overwhelmed by the weight of his choices and the lies he's been telling himself. This is getting dark. He's absolutely wrecked, convinced he's the son of a murderer, no matter what happened. Flashback, he's a teacher, surrounded by students, but clearly haunted by something. He remembers leaving his child alone, and it's eating him up inside, straight up destroying him. He's spiraling, admitting he's just a mother who ran away. What a gut punch. But here's the twist, he's not talking about running from responsibility. He literally ran away. We see a tender moment, him gently touching his young son's head, a bittersweet memory. It's a flashback within a flashback, showing him kneeling, lovingly adjusting his son's hat. He repeats, "I'm just a mother who ran away," and honestly, it's devastatingly sad. The scene replays on a screen, a digital ghost of a happier time, and it's crushing. He confesses he did something terrible, something he can't take back, and the weight of it all is immense. He's trying to deny it, screaming no, but he remembers everything now, the full story. This dude's reliving the moment he heard her story, and it's brutal. He's getting physically sick. Someone yells at him to spit her out. No way, this is intense, and he's clearly choking on something. He explodes, a full-on scream, and it's clear whatever he swallowed isn't going down easy. He's violently coughing, trying to get it out, and honestly the imagery is a lot. Blood is everywhere as he struggles, and the force of it is sending papers flying. He's slamming his fist down, desperate, but it just makes things worse, splattering blood everywhere. The room is a mess, papers everywhere, and a blue energy is starting to surge around him. Everything's going crazy, papers flying, energy crackling, and he's just gasping for air. Finally manages to get it out, and the last panel just says was crying, and bro, same. Dokja Kim is losing it, straight up, growing tired of all this reality bending. He's screaming for it to stop, yelling at whatever's happening to shut up. It's intense. He's violently coughing up something, and it's not pretty, honestly. Papers are flying everywhere. Dokja wants to know what he did to cause all this, what part he played in this messed up scenario. He's questioning if reading that trash novel, TWSA, is what led to this bizarre, terrible situation. Did reading the story actually make this world real? That's the question haunting him now. Everything is exploding around him, papers, energy, but he's focused on one thing, understanding. Our boy is reeling, trying to figure out how he ended up like this, and it's a total gut punch. But it's clear this dude's past is catching up to him, and things are about to get even wilder. Dokja hears a page ripping, and it's not a normal tear. It feels like reality itself is splitting apart. He's suddenly bombarded with information, a flood of text and data overwhelming his senses. No way. It's a massive database, a story within the story, and Dokja's trying to make sense of it all, but it's chaos. He's desperately scanning the pages, eyes darting across endless lines, trying to find something, anything. Dokja spots a strange entry, something labeled Omniscient Reader, and he's completely freaked out, honestly. He demands to know what this is, what it means, and the system responds with a single, chilling word, Omniscient. The letters aren't forming normally, they're glitching and distorting, like the system is breaking down. The final panel reveals the chapter title, The Constrained Reader, and bro, this is getting seriously intense. Dokja reaches out, desperately trying to grab onto the unraveling text, shouting for someone, anyone, to listen. The system is losing it, pages tearing apart as it warns Dokja not to get consumed by his own skill. No way. Dokja is totally lost, demanding to know who is giving these orders, what's happening to him. It's insane. A voice booms telling him to take his hand off it, calling him an idiot, and honestly, it's kinda justified. He's reeling, questioning who this mysterious entity is, as the system continues to fall apart around him. The pages crumble and disintegrate, and Dokja is left completely stunned, trying to process everything. The system is straight up collapsing, and our boy is caught right in the middle of the chaos, seriously. Pages continue to fall apart, and the voice echoes again, demanding to know who Dokja thinks he is. The system isn't just breaking down, it's actively trying to stop Dokja from using his ability. Everything crumbles around him, and Dokja's left speechless, completely bewildered by the events unfolding.